for Mr. Simeon to do. He's the host of the event. Hello, Mr. Simeon.
Yes, it started now. Christian, please, can you go ahead with the session? Thank you.
All right. All right, welcome everybody, and good evening to everybody in the house, both the participants and distinguished members of the section, as well as some of our judges who are currently with us. We welcome you to the final presentation session for the SPE Port Harcourt section Petroleum Engineering Industry Experience Bootcamp, themed from subsurface to energy. Next slide, please. So for the agenda for today, I would very shortly do the honors of introducing the moderator of the event, after which we're going to have a keynote speech from the SPE Nigeria Council Chair. That would follow swiftly by the welcome speech and opening address from our section chair. We're going to have the recognition of the section officers and senior members, after which we'll have a partner's remark. Once more, we won't forget our partners, Cypher Crescent, who through their aid, we've been able to put up this very amazing bootcamp. Very shortly after that, we would proceed with the introduction of judges by our committee lead, who is no other than Gerald himself, as well as his address to us. We would also continue with the overview of our presentation, the presentation session, the rules, and the scoring criteria. Lastly, we're going to have the presentation and the judging session for 6 participating teams of the bootcamp, after which we are expected to get our closing remarks to bring the session to an end. Next slide, please. All right, to move into the agenda of the day, to be our moderator today is none other than Mrs. Dorcas Jimmy Otis Kuro, the Technical Sales Engineer at Oida Energy Limited. Dorcas Jimmy is a Technical Sales Engineer and Business Development Associate at Oida Energy Limited with 10 years of experience in petroleum engineering research, lecturing, and consultancy. She applies engineering concepts to drive sustainability, reliability, and innovative energy solutions. Dorcas Jimmy holds a BTech and an MTech with distinction and is pursuing a PhD in petroleum engineering. She has published over 10 technical papers in drilling fluids, waste management, carbon footprint reduction, and production optimization. An LSB executive alumnus and with a mini MBA from Tekedia Institute. She is also skilled in Python, AI and machine learning, and energy software tools. She's a passionate STEM advocate and volunteer. She actively serves in the Society of Petroleum Engineers International at both the international, national, and local levels. She is committed to inspiring the next generation, particularly young women in STEM. So if your digital hands are not busy, please a round of applause as our moderator takes the stage. Mrs. Jimmy, if you're with us, over to you. A round of applause, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone, or good afternoon for those of us joining from all over the world, or should I say good day. Thank you once again for having me here and the opportunity to do this. I sincerely do appreciate. So let's deep dive straight into action. The next on our agenda is the introduction of the keynote speaker, the person that's going to give us a keynote address. And we have the rare privilege and the honor to have our very own council chair, SPE Nigerian Council, Engineer Francis Owache, to go ahead and do this. Please, sir, I can see you on the call. You're welcome to the virtual podium. Please go ahead and take the keynote speech. Thank you. Hello? Please, was I heard loud and clear? Just to confirm.
Oh, yes, are you aware?
Okay.
So Gerald, kindly confirm that Engineer Francis is with us.
Okay, now I can't see him anymore. I actually noticed a notification of him joining, but I don't see him anymore on the call.
Yeah. Hello, Stella.
I'm here.
Mute, please.
Okay, so we don't have Engineer Francis on the call. Mr. Gerard, kindly give your permission if we can move on to the next agenda, and then he
Yeah.
can give that when he's part of the session.
Yeah, I think we can continue, and then when he's back, we'll call him back up to speak. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Probably having technical glitches or something. Okay, so we'll move on to the next agenda, which is us getting the rare privilege to hear an opening remarks from our engineer, Dr. Pringle Egbe, the section chair, SPE Port Harcourt section, the brain and the mastermind behind this beautiful project we are all here to witness today. Please, Engineer Pringle, sir, please go ahead and take the virtual podium and give us your opening remark. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. We are just watching my life. Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, our distinguished judges, mentors, industry leaders, our dedicated young professionals. Okay, as part of my vision for this board year, and in alignment with my council chair vision in this council year, I'm truly proud to see the 2025 Petroleum Engineering Bootcamp reach its final presentation stage. This has been one of our most strategic and impactful technical initiatives for the year. This movement represents more than just the end of a program. It is the beginning of a new possibilities. Over the past weeks, our participants have been engaging themselves fully in rigorous learning, hands-on problem solving, teamwork, and personal development. Today, they step forward to showcase not just their technical skills, but their passion, their creativity, and readiness to contribute meaningfully to the energy industry.
You are muted, sir.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I guess I can come over again. So, as part of the vision for the board year, is to align and also align with the council chair vision for the council year. I'm truly proud to see the 2025 SP Port Harcourt section Petroleum Engineering Bootcamp reach its final presentation stage. This has been one of our most strategic and impactful technical initiatives for the year. This movement represents more than the end of a program. It is the beginning of new possibilities over the past weeks. Our participants have engaged themselves fully in rigorous learning, hands-on problem solving, teamwork, and personal development. Today, they step forward to showcase not just their technical skills, but their passion, creativity, and readiness to contribute meaningfully to the energy industry. The bootcamp aligned to our vision as a board to build a capacity to develop leaders, create platforms that empower young professionals to strive. I'm proud to say this vision has been brought to life through the remarkable effort of everyone involved. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our partners, sponsor, Cypher Crystal Limited, for their unwavering support. Their dedication to advance petroleum engineering education and digital innovation continues to strengthen our industry and inspire the young generation. To our judges, mentors, volunteers, thank you for investing your time, your experience, your wisdom. Your guidance has redefined these young minds and expand their system. To the bootcamp leads and program team, well done. You've executed this initiative excellently. And to our participants, you represent the future of energy industry. I encourage you to embrace today with confidence, present boldly, take feedback with gratitude, and continue to chase mystery in your chosen path. The industry is evolving. We will need your fresh ideas, your energy, and your leadership. As we begin today's section, I wish everyone a productive, engaging, and inspiring experience. Thank you and welcome once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Dr. Pringle. As always, an apt and spot-on opening remarks. I'm sure we're all geared up and ready for this program based on the opening remark we've all received. So once again, I say welcome everyone, and we'll move on to the next agenda for today, which is just a second here. I still don't see Engineer Francis on the call yet, so we'll just continue to recognizing of the section officers and senior members that are present on the call. From my end, I can always be prompt about if I miss anyone, and if I do, and in no particular order, please, so no one takes offense, but I'm just going to recognize according to the way it's showing on my screen. Of course, thank you, Engineer Dr. Pringle, for being on the call with us. It's an honor and a privilege for us. I also see one of our officials, Madam Stella Obodu. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much. We're super excited and happy to have you here. Also, I see, just to be sure, I'm not missing anyone here. Of course, I see Gerald, our committee lead and an active member or volunteer, and also an official of the SPE Port Harcourt section. I don't think I'm missing anyone, well, except myself. I also see myself, the secretary of the section. So thank you everyone for being here. My sincere apologies if I miss you out. I'm sure I'll be prompted about it and we'll recognize you as the program continues. So we'll move on to the next agenda, which is the partner remarks. And the partner remarks will be taken by our amazing partner and those who believe in bringing dreams like this to reality, which is our partner, Cypher Crescent. So for Cypher Crescent, for the partnership remark, this will be taken by Mr. Lowell Ufot, the manager, Energy Services at Cypher Crescent Limited. Mr. Lowell Ufot, you're welcome to the virtual podium. Please go ahead and give us your partner remark. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Lowell Ufot. Hello, sir. Gerald, maybe you give him a prompt, do him a message or put a call through to him because I see him on the call. I'm not sure, maybe he's not hearing me.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dorcas. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear we can. Please go ahead.
And special greetings in regards to the council chair. Even though we've not been able to hear his remark yet, and also to the SPE Section 103 chair for this budget. Thanks also to all of the participants of this particular bootcamp program so far. It has been an intense one, and we hope that you have also enjoyed the rigorous process and learnings that you have had the opportunity to pick up throughout this program, the interaction, the skills that you have had the opportunity to work through are not just textbook cases, but actually practical instances of what you would encounter during your experience in the industry. And at Cypher Percent, we remain constantly committed towards technical excellence. And it has been an absolute pleasure for us to participate, collaborate with SPE in this whole process. So we look forward to the engagement today to also see how everyone is going to come here and share their learnings and also how they've been able to solve real industry challenges and also find insights throughout the weeks of collaboration that is held here. We look forward to a successful and happy conclusion of this event. Again, thank you to everyone who has been a part of this process. Back to you, Doctors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Loa Ofort. That was an amazing opening remark. And thank you so much to Cypher Crescent for being willing to do this with us. We sincerely do appreciate, SPE is only able to stand and achieve all the amazing things it achieves through partners and sponsors like yourself. We sincerely do appreciate. Thank you so much for doing this with us and also being here to give us that remark. All right, so without wasting time, we'll move on to the next agenda for today, which is the committee lead address and introduction of the judges. Like I mentioned earlier, this whole project or this whole tax is being led by someone to bring it into a reality. Like the Bible says that some plant, some water it, and God giveth the increase. So even in this boot camp, some did the planting, some did the watering, and some gave the increase. So let's welcome Gerard as he comes to give us his bootcamp presentation, an overview of it, and also introduce us to amazing judges for today's event. Mr. Gerard, sir, please go ahead, and you're welcome to the virtual podium. Please let's give him some reactions to show that we're very happy to have him here. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much, Madam Dokas, for the very fantastic moderation so far. And good day, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here and to be a part of this session, which officially wraps up or will be wrapping up the 5 weeks virtual petroleum engineering bootcamp, which we have had. It's been an absolute pleasure to chair the committee. It's been 4 months of planning and execution ever since this idea was shared with me with SC, the section chair, Dr. Pringle, back sometime in July, August, and we've been pulling together people and resources to ensure that we are delivering a fantastic program, and I believe we've done so. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of this, and I know to have had the wonderful team and of course our partner Cypher Crescent to help us with executing it. So in the next few minutes, I'll just take you through an overview of what we've done through the bootcamp, so you can appreciate what we set out to achieve and what we've achieved, and you have a better idea of what you'll be seeing today from the participants. And after that, I will go ahead to introduce the technical judges we have today for the presentation. So the bootcamp was basically designed to upskill and develop our young professionals of the SPE Port Harcourt section by providing hands-on exposure to oil and gas projects and its associated challenges. And we basically did this so as to position them for jobs in the industry and to ensure that they are very well equipped to begin to deliver value to the different companies from the first day of the job as they venture into the industry. Most of them are recent graduates, fresh graduates who just graduated this year, or early career professionals with less than 2 years experience in the industry. And we decided that it would be great, to give them this opportunity to be trained and developed in the relevant petroleum engineering disciplines that they may venture into in the industry. So what they did was to stimulate the real workplace multidisciplinary collaboration towards solving, technical problems across the different disciplines and identifying economic production opportunities in the upstream oil and gas business. We also provided mentorship from senior industry professionals across the different technical and commercial domains. So we had mentorship and review sessions with the participants throughout the bootcamp. This is the team, fantastic team of 35 participants, which we selected out of hundreds of applications for this program, and who we split into into 6 teams, 5 people per team. And also we had the pleasure of bringing in some members of the Ghana section just to promote some collaboration across the sections, across the different sections in Africa. So we had some young professionals from the Ghana section also involved in this bootcamp, so that they could, of course, be trained and take some learnings out of the bootcamp. Unfortunately, the final presentation session is purely only for the SP Port Harcourt section young professionals. So the Ghana section team, even though they have already been trained and learned from the program, they will not be participating in this presentation, but we thank them for their participation. So in summary, we had a virtual bootcamp. It started on the 24th of October and it ran up until last week, finishing on the 29th of November. So it was a 5 weeks purely virtual bootcamp. We had weekly industry expert-led technical sessions at the first day of every week, on the Monday of every week, which we have recorded. So if you'd like, to have a view of what the participant learned in these sessions, all the recordings are available on the SP Port Harcourt section YouTube page. So do well to go there and have a look. Like I said, we had 30 individuals in 6 teams. And we did that so that they could work together in teams to foster that collaboration, so build those workplace collaboration skill sets, and also leadership. We ensured that each member of the team served as a lead for the team each week, so that they could build their leadership skills, especially when they work, with multidisciplinary individuals, bringing them together to work on solving a project. They also carried out curated tasks and projects every week. So each week they worked on the particular discipline. So tasks and projects focused on the disciplines that they carried out each week. So the first week they had tasks on production geology, then they moved on to petrophysics, then on to reservoir engineering, then on to production technology and well performance, and finally petroleum economics. During each week, we also had review and mentorship sessions with senior industry professionals to go through the works that had been done, answer any questions that they had, and also to give them some mentorship insights for those who want to pursue careers in certain specific disciplines across the industry. And of course, after this session, one of the goals is to get the best performing team and also to award them with cash prizes and graduate opportunities courtesy of our sponsors. So yes, there are some fantastic opportunities that we have in store for them. The primary focus for the program was basically subsurface and commercial aspects of a typical opportunity identification and maturation workflow in the upstream oil and gas industry. So just a highlight of the program in pictures. We started with the first week in production geology and geophysics. We had Dr. David Anomnese of Seplat Energy deliver a presentation, after which the participants worked on different tasks around geological data interpretation, hydrocarbon in place, volumes estimation, and the likes. And then we moved on to the petrophysics week, where we had a presentation from engineer Sunday Maxwell Maduba from Renaissance, delivered a fantastic presentation, after which for that week, participants worked on different tasks around interpreting and analyzing well logs, free contact identification, and NetP identification as well. Then we moved into week 3 with Victor Latope of Renaissance, also delving into reservoir engineering, with the reservoir engineering workflows and integration. And then the participants also carried out tasks around things like PVT and reservoir characterization, pressure gradient or fluid gradient analysis, and production forecasting. It was a very exciting week for them, I believe. And then we moved on to the production technology and well performance week. We had Hyacinth Efebili of Heritage Energy come deliver another fantastic presentation as well, production technology and well performance, after which they carried out projects around production performance analysis, diagnosing well problems, identifying intervention opportunities, and then quantifying those opportunities. So it was also a very exciting week for them. And then we moved on to the final week, where we had Petroleum Economics delivered by Dr. Austin Uku, the Chief Executive Officer of Jurac Energy Services, and also the Chief, also a lawyer, Austin Uku and Co. He came and delivered a fantastic presentation on economics and the PIE. And then after that, during the week, they carried out tasks in economic analysis and opportunity selection, ranking, and recommendation. We also had the Microsoft Excel for productivity, for petroleum engineering productivity session, which was done by very honestly, Dr. Pringulegbe and Israel Bassi of ExxonMobil, where the participants looked at things like optimization, which is very crucial for us as engineers, learning how to do optimization in Microsoft Excel, automation, programming, and analytics, just as a way to further build up their skill sets and learnings from this program. So it's really been a fantastic one. They've learned a lot. They've engaged in wonderful projects towards maturing an opportunity, and that was really supported by the people you see on my screen. So I'd like to say a big thank you to every member of the committee who supported in one way or the other all through the last 4 months to ensure that we have delivered a fantastic session or a fantastic bootcamp, and also special appreciation to Cypher Crescent, who provided the data, and also resource persons who helped out all through the bootcamp, supporting the participants and ensuring that they were getting the maximum learning, and also providing their tools, particularly the CEPAL WRFM tool for our use for this program. So a big appreciation to them for their support. So without further ado, considering we do not have much time, I will go ahead to introduce the technical judges that we have today. I won't be talking to or mentioning, going into their background because of time, but please give a virtual round of applause as I introduce each of them. We have Engineer Chike Umonodi, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He's a senior reservoir engineer at Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited. You're welcome, Engineer Chike. Can you say hi if you're here on the call? Okay, I see a thumbs up from him. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us today. Our second judge for today is Stella Egvim Obodu. Most of you know her because she's a very wonderful and active member of the SPE for Harcourt section. She's a senior petrophysicist at Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited. Please a virtual round of applause for her. Madam Stella, if you are here, can you just say hi?
Hi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. And then our third technical judge for today is Mr. Tamuno Choko Kala Otaji. He is the General Manager, Production and Reservoir of Green Energy International Limited. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Can you say hi so we know you're on the call?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. And finally, we have Oluchi Angnobi. She is a signal reservoir engineer at Total Energies. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you say hi so we know you're on the call?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so I'll just hand over to you, Madam Dorcas, so you can take us through the overview of the presentation session, or if you like me to do that, I can also do that as well.
So what's
Oh, right. All right. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you, Gerald, for that amazing breakdown. So for those of us that have not been involved with this project or this task from the onset, I believe from Mr. Gerald's remark, we're all been brought up to speed. So we're here today for an exciting time, for a power-packed time and a time of learning and even unlearning. So for our presentation today, this is the overview for it and the rules and the scoring points. So I'll urge our presenters to pay attention to these rules and make sure you stick to them to aid in your scoring process, right? Because it's one thing to have a beautiful story. It's another thing to be able to tell that story in a way that those listening to you will be inspired and actually learn from it, right? All right, so for our presentation timing, it's going to take a total of 25 minutes per team. So each team have 25 minutes for their presentation time, 15 minutes to make their presentation, and 10 minutes to get questions and answers or contribution and feedback from our judges that are on the call, right? And then for the presentation itself, participating teams will present their project strategies, and then the outcomes and the insights from that project, the key takeaways you got, or to the panel of judges. And then also the team will also have to follow an opportunity maturation flow work to identify, evaluate, and prioritize the potential production enhancement opportunities in the onshore oil field with similar characteristics to a typical onshore Niger Delta oil field, right? So your presentation should carry this criteria. And then for the judging criteria, this is for our judges and also for our presenters, because you have to present according to this criteria, right? The questions and the feedback per team may come from any member of the panel, right? So there are no specific judges that's going to meant to ask any specific team. It could come from any member of the panel. And then the judges will be reviewing each team's technical presentation. So make sure your presentation is technically done. And also the judges will also provide a constructive feedback and professional insights. So after your presentation, look forward to that constructive feedback and professional insights from our judges. And then lastly, the judges will also score each team based on the technical accuracy, the creativity, and the presentation quality. All right. And then lastly, for the order of presentation, we're going to be following that order as presented on the screen. Team D will go first, then Team E, Team F, then Team A, and Team B. So Team B will be the last, but not the least. But our first, of course, will be Team D. So at this point, if I have the permission of my section chair, my committee lead, we'll move on to the presentation session. Thank you very much. So let's welcome Team D to make their presentation. Team D, please go ahead. You have the virtual podium and your time starts now. Remember, you have 35 minutes. This is 37 minutes past into 4 p.m. So we will be stopping you in 15 minutes time.
Can the presenter for Team D please unmute and go ahead? If you need me to move from one slide to the other, you just say next slide and I'll move to the next slide. Indeed, yeah, if you're having any challenge with unmuting, you can also drop a comment in the chat box so we know and can help you out where you require. Yeah, Emmanuel, I see you on the call. Can you hear me? Emmanuel of Team D, can you hear me, please? Okay, Dorcas, I think with your permission, if we're not able to hear them, we can skip and move to the next group, except if Team D is ready now. Can you hear me, Emmanuel? Okay, Madam Dorcas, back to you. I think we can move to the next group then, just so we don't waste time. Hello, Madam Dorcas, are you there?
I think she had network issues, but she's rejoining the call. And I think Emmanuel was speaking because he was unmuted for a while, but I couldn't hear him. I don't know if any other person heard him.
Okay, we'll move on to the next team. I believe that should be Team E. Emmanuel, if you're speaking, your network is quite poor, so we can't hear you. So if you can look for a good place to, rejoin or go and rejoin. But yeah, we'll move to the next group, which is Team E. Put their slides up now. Okay, so
So just to ask, are we penalizing Team D for this or no?
That is at your discretion as the judges. Thank you. Timi, please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
I think I had some technical glitches, or you could not hear me also. Yes, please. So we're moving on to the next team, right? Just to be sure. I had a break.
Yes. Timi,
Which would be
Team E. Yeah, we're
Team
moving on
D?
to Team E. Yes.
Team E.
Yeah, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can,
can.
Ikechukwu. Please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Ikechukwu Wealth. And then on behalf of Team E, I'm the geologist for the team. So basically, we're actually giving basically we're giving a tax on the first day. It happened to be the first day. So we're giving a tax to look at three structural map and then get the GROV, which is the gross rock volume, and the STOIP, which is stock tank oil initially in place. So a quick one, just for proper understanding. GROV is just basically talking about the total size of the rock that can actually hold hydrocarbon. Then why the stock tank oil initially in place. Actually talking about the estimated amount of oil originally in place before production. Please, the next slide. Okay, so actually, the GROV, which is the gross rock volume, was gotten from, which is using the formula area times height, which we were able to get the area from the three structural maps that were given to us. So we're able to get our gross rock volume and then also the stock tank oil initially in place. So if you look at my slide carefully, you'll see my values for the AFRI1, the AFRI2, and the AFRI3 for under gross rock volume. The values gotten according to the calculation we did. And then for the STOIP, which is the stock tank oil initially in place, you can also see the values that was also gotten from there. So it basically talks about, it explains it explains that if after our calculation, the value shown for the STOIP and then the GRV, which is the gross rock volume, explains that the higher our gross rock volume, the higher our STOIP too at the same time. So for the sake of time, I will actually give the opportunity to the petrophysicists of my team to also go through the overview of what we did too on that petrophysics. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening. Please, the next slide for the petrophysics overview. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Wanchukwu Naka, the petrophysicist of Group E, and basically the petrophysics overview had to do with the well logs. We use the well logs to understand what's going on in the subsurface. Using the gamma log, we're able to identify clean sands from shale, given that shale have high radioactivity, while clean sands have low radioactivity. We use the nutrient porosity log and the density log to calculate our porosity and confirm the presence of hydrocarbon, also to understand the storage capacity of our reservoir, and our resistivity log helped us determine the fluid type and the saturation. As you can see in log 1, you can see the oil water contact, which was identified by a sharp decrease in resistivity. And for log 2, it's just a pure oil reservoir. Please, next slide. Okay, so in the hydrocarbon distribution plot, which was done to visualize the structural control and fluid contact, using the color green to identify oil and the color blue to identify water. So this basically gives us an idea on the wells that might not be produced and wells that would need intervention, like well E 2007 and well, W 2003. So yes, so this is all about the petrophysics overview, and I would be redirecting to our reservoir engineer. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Musa Munjera. On behalf of my team, I'm here to give a brief overview on the reservoir engineering part of our project. So for the reservoir engineering part, we are giving static BHP dataset and flowing BHP dataset. Using the dataset, we are able to determine the fluid gradient from each well by plotting the depth versus pressure, which is shown in the diagram. The slope of the plot reflects the type of fluid occupying the well bore. And from the diagram, we could see that the slope of 0.3113 psi per foot falls within the expected range for oil gradient. Then we went ahead to calculate our stack by correcting it to the reservoir datum depth and also the flowing pressure by correcting it to the top of perforation depth. We did this for each of the wells. The result gotten was used to calculate the productivity index, which is the well's ability to deliver under pressure differential. Since we know the type of fluid present in the wellbore with PV to know the properties of the fluid present in the reservoir, and the properties were gotten at the datum pressure, which is shown in the plot by the right. Having established the well's initial performance in the reservoir from PVT, we now examine how the well production is expected to decline over time. Next slide, please. So for the decline curve, we are given the production data for each of the wells in the reservoir. The data was plotted against time to visualize how the well has been declining over time. The decline parameters were adjusted until the model best matched the actual production. Using the matched models, we projected future oil rates until the well reaches the economic limit. So in this plot, the red shows our historical decline, while the green shows our forecast up to the economic limit. The historical decline help us to determine the reserve and to know the estimated ultimate recovery. Basically, doing decline curve analysis help us to predict future production and estimate the remaining reserve of the well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me. My name is Mbokwere Ligidechiana, and I'm the production technologist for Group E. Kindly confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can, Legide. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, presenting our team's work, our objective was basically to diagnose critical well problems, identify future potential, and propose the interventions to maximize oil recovery. So we followed a four-step analysis process, which is basically analyzing the reservoir and well history using the performance plots. Then we checked the chart plots to visualize fluid movements within the reservoir. Then this led us to diagnose the likely problem and propose the interventions. Then we forecasted the future production potential. So before diving into the diagnosis proper, this is just a quick guide on the metrics we prioritize. So you can see the beam, which is the pink line. It is a choke or valve that controls how fast fluids are allowed to flow from the reservoir into the well. The red crosshatch area is the oil rates, which is the quantity of oil being produced. The blue line, the water cost, is percentage of produced liquid that is water. It is literally the biggest operational headache. Then we have the gas oil ratio, which is the green line. It's the ratio of gas produced to the oil produced. Next slide, please. So for the diagnosis, we use well E2007 as a case study. And from this plots that we are seeing here, E2007 is the one in the middle, just for reference. We can see that there was a being up twice with little to no response in oil rates, and there was a massive increase in the water cost. The water cost remained below 10% rate up until there was an increase in the choke from the 36.4. Then the water cost rose drastically up until 90%. We can see that the gas oil ratio is stable, and then the oil rate declines and softly responds to the being up. So beside on the two sides of these plots, we can see well W2003T and E2009L. These wells were cited here because they are in the same reservoir as this particular 2007 that we are analyzing, and we needed to understand the water course behavior vis-a-vis the reservoir. For 2003, we can see that the water course behavior is quite similar to that of 2007C, while that of 2009L is completely different. And if you notice, the W2003 was the earliest well, followed by the 2007, and the last one, 2009. So, please, next slide. We had to consult our charm plots to understand the reason for the water breakthrough in the 2007C. And then we can see that it is as a result of water channeling. Then from the hydrocarbon distribution plots and this data that we already have, we also have well history, which was not cited here because to reduce the bulkiness. We were able to speculate or suggest that the 2009L, the reason for the sudden increase in water cost, you can see that it did not start from zero to gradually increase. It started from a very high percentage right from the beginning. So because the 2007C had been drilled, had been producing, and then the water cost stopped at 90%, it rose up to 90%, we assume that the perforation of 8009L is in the water leg, and that's the reason for that line drawn across the hydrocarbon distribution plots. Next slide, please. So our likely problem and intervention, like I already said, likely problem is water breakthrough. And from the plot, you can see that 8070 is the lowest structurally and it is highly exposed to aquifer influx. So our intervention was to do a water shutoff. And then because there are other wells in this reservoir, we suggested, which might also need intervention as we go down the line, we suggested that we should acquire a CO log, which is the carbon oxygen log, to confirm the new oil water contact, because as we produce, the oil water contact tends to shift before any form of re-entry, reperforation, or anything that will be done in the later life of this well or in the other wells. Next slide, please. So in the other slide, we can see that we have a list of the wells, the likely problems and interventions. But because of time, and since we already have the data with us, I don't want to bore by reading every single detail. And the next slide also has the likely problem and interventions. Then these are the things we consulted and concluded, so that we hand it over to the economic analyst for a proper economic analysis. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Team F. Hello.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, our esteemed judges. Can everybody hear me?
Thank you very much. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Onodu Teresa. I'm the Petroleum Economics of Team E. I'm here to talk about the economic analysis of the various. I'm here to talk about the economic analysis of the various wells with their various intervention opportunities. To ensure our maturation plan is commercially viable, we ran our economics based on the conservative oil price of, please, next slide, please. The economic analysis. Okay, thank you. Okay, to ensure our maturation plan is commercially viable, we ran our economics based on the conservative oil price of $50 per barrel and an operating cost of $20 per barrel using a 10% discount rate. A representative case study, as you can see, well, 8070, the proposed intervention here is a water shutoff only. If you look at the metrics, the intervention requires a capex of $1.5 million. However, it generates a healthy net present value of $2.14 million. Most impressively, the payback period is just 0.336 years. This means we recover our entire investment in roughly 4 months. This confirms that even with our conservative oil pricing of $50 per barrel, these interventions are highly capital efficient. Please, next slide. Next slide,
Sorry
please.
to interrupt you, Teresa. Your team time is up. Your 15 minutes is up.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, we'll welcome our judges or our panelists to please go ahead and give questions and feedback based on the presentations made. Thank you. Please, do we have any questions or feedback or comments from our judges?
Yes,
Can
I
you hear
do.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can,
Yes.
Madam Oluchi.
Okay. Thank you so much, Team Team E rather, for your presentation. It's amazing the work you have done in the space of 5 weeks. For starters, I think you did well. But there was just something I noticed that would have helped us to understand your case quicker. I didn't see a map of the field or the reservoir level with the wells you're working with. So I think it would be nice to put up a map, and maybe on the map, you can also show us how the contact is with the well location, so we can start looking at wells, probably the wells at the crest or the wells that are closer to the water leg, how they behave. And I'm not sure. I heard how long this field has produced before you went into DCA. Maybe I missed that part. Probably you can if it was something I missed, or maybe you omitted it, because before you go into DCA you should have understood the production pattern of the field. Was there any indication to how long this field has produced? And I saw that you did your DCA on well level. It's good, but at the same time, you can also do your DCA on the reservoir level so that you're not too pessimistic in terms of your recovery. But based on your level, I think you did a good job. So, with time, when you get into the system, you will be able to refine it. But thank you so much.
Team E, do we have anyone to respond to that, or it's just a feedback to take for learning purposes?
Okay. I'd just like to quickly add something. Thank you very much, Ma, for the pointers you gave. For the map, we placed a structural map at the beginning of the presentation, and that has the position of the wells. But because of time, we could not go into the nitty-gritties explaining all the positions. But the structural map was placed at the beginning of the map. Thank you very much, Ma. And then for the number of years, we were given that the field has been producing for 8 years, and that is what we worked with to get all the results that we have come up with. Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you for the response. And then I have another question for the first guy that spoke. I think is Ikechukwu. He said that with what they saw, that increasing GRV showed the stope to be increasing. But I'm just wondering, are we talking about the same field, the same well, sorry, the same reservoir? Because you know that if your porosity is not constant, your stope will not be increasing with the same way your GRV increases. So maybe next time, if you want to make those kind of statements, you should be a bit more precise on for a given for if every other constant if every parameter is constant, then your stope will be increasing with an increasing GRV. Because if you have changes in your parameters, maybe your net to gross or your porosity, then that assumption will not entirely be true. Thank you.
Okay. Can I just make some additions or maybe if you don't mind. This time
Yeah,
not
please
talking.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think for the little time that is given to you guys, and also where you're coming from, I think this is a great work done, and it's very good, very inspired at this little time. But one or two comments, when I saw the G&G side, I don't want to comment much on there. Well, let me go just little about the ROE parts. I saw volumes. I don't know where the volumes are coming from. I'm not seeing any comparison between what the G&G has done and what the ROE has done in terms of volumes for that particular reservoir. That is not there. So I think you have to look at that. You have an historical production, and I don't know how you validated. I think basically in terms of classical reservoir engineering, I'm not seeing anything shown there. I mean, classical, I'm seeing something shown there a little, but when it comes to your normal simulation, I'm not seeing anything there. And the next thing is your decline. Thanks to is it Olushi? So I'm sorry, the person that spoke prior to now, you are making a decline curve, and like she said, you're being very pessimistic. If I would have preferred you in making such a using decline, I would have preferred you use the three type of decline scenarios, which will give me, I think, it's more or less like a hand bit of uncertainty when you're doing the handling uncertainty in terms of if you're overestimating your recoverable or you're underestimating it. So you can use your exponential, your hyperbolic, and that then give me a bandwidth and say, okay, I'm comfortable with this. That is one. Then secondly, in terms of your economic analysis, where you have a conservative number of $50 per barrel, I don't know how you come about that conservative number. When you're doing economic analysis like that, I think it's also better you do sensitivity and uncertainty to get, okay, this is the best minimum that I'm looking at. So I think these are a few things that you put at the tip of your finger, though there are more when you're doing such presentation. Thank you. But all in all, it was a wonderful presentation within the short time allotted for you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Your reviews are
So I
really
think,
good. Thank you for everything.
yeah, Chike, one of the here now. Thanks, Team E. Just listening to you within the 5 weeks shows clearly that. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, we can, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So just listening to the various the teammates shows clearly the amount of work that's gone into this. And thanks and very well done to the different resource persons. So mine, I think other judges has mentioned a couple of things which I think you would have taken note of. Mine is to see how this integrates, because this is an FDP type kind of delivery. So when I listen to the PGPS, or what I call the geology, geosciences, I was waiting to see the volumetrics, which I saw it, but I wanted us to demonstrate. I wanted you to demonstrate how you got those numbers. I know that simply the volumes, the GRVs were there, but then the indicative inputs in terms of the volumetric equations weren't clear, because, I mean, this is entirely GRV, NTG, your porosity, all those values and BOs. But then I would have loved to see that. And then the general question for me is that it would have been nice to define clearly your technical and economic objective of your problem that you're solving, and then try to bring out the indicators of availability of data that you have and the gaps. Then moving on to the DCA that was shown by the RE, I know that exactly this is empirical reservoir model, so you were showing us. But what wasn't clear is how you were able to integrate, the reservoir performance that you are showing us. We didn't quite see the initial historical performance before then, but we saw the plots, how that extension or that, forecasting, is it at well level or reservoir level, which I think Oluchi alluded to, and then how that ties to the PT performance that was done. So if you if you look at what I was saying earlier, the technical objective would have brought that earlier, which of the well you now took forward to do that forecasting. And for me, clearly, the objective of the problem would have also brought that out. At the end of the day, the handshake or the interdependencies between the disciplines is very key. It is very important that what we are establishing here are the handshake, the closing the loop, how your program, or sorry, how your output ties to the PT and how that also ties to economics. And I think I like the amount of work that the PT guy did. Is it Teresa or so? Not Teresa, the PT person. But what I see there is very good in-depth of the reservoir performance of the wells and their status and what they have done. But how that links to, the indicators, I mean, the DCA and the forecasting would have been very clear. Maybe you come before then the DCA, the RE takes it. It's not always the trend or the workflow that the PT will come after the RE in most cases, because in this case, you are trying to look at walkover opportunities, identify it, and then the DCA, which is the empirical model. Then finally, I also noticed that at the end, I didn't see for the RE, the DURs that I would have loved to see the tables, what are the wells doing at wells or reservoir level, and the remaining reserve that you're forecasting. So a bit of, fleshing up on that, even though it's an empirical model. Then for the economies, I think when you're doing this, the first thing is the economic regime. It has to be very clear, whether it's concessionary or JV type or PSC or sole risk. It has to be very clear. And then the economic assumptions. So you list all that with the screening criteria, and then you'll be able to, before you show us the profitability indicators and results. And what I saw there, I think you called it net cash flow forecast. I mean, cash flow forecast. It's a cash flow profile. And it starts from, your maximum exposure and goes up when you break even, and that's the trend. It's always a trend. So for me, but overall, very good work. And this is something that as you begin to do this over and over, then it's clear that, yes, you are delivering as a team. And well done, team. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chike. We sincerely do appreciate those apt feedback. And to every other of our judges, Mr. Tamuno, Oluchi, and all the rest, thank you so much. We would love to receive more feedbacks, but we have to move on as we've exhausted our 10 minutes and even more for questions and feedbacks. So please, we'll move on to the next team presentation, which would be Team F. We can always engage this team member. Yes, please.
Ion, thank you. Just before you move on, Ion is malleable when it's hot. So I think at this point, before we lose track, you can give the judges maybe 1 minute or some seconds to rate before we move on, so that we don't, or it's assumed we have all rated, just to emphasize that.
Okay, sure. We can take that. Give 1 minute, and then the next team can start presentation in the next 1 minute, please.
Okay, great.
Thank you. So while the judges are rating Team E, I hope Team F, you're geared up, you're ready. And remember, you have 15 minutes and you will be stopped at exactly 15 minutes during your presentation, if not done. So please, let's bear that in mind.
All right, it's noted. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait, please, I just need to confirm. What team did we just rate?
Team E, ma'am.
E, okay.
Yes, please. All right, so 1 minute is up. I hope our judges have rated fair and square and with no biases. I trust my judges to do justice to the job. Thank you so much. We'll move on to Team F for your presentation. Team F is made up of Emanuela Mezus, Rukweb Akaimbi, Cynthia Obinwa, Ezeme Futa, Okoligo, and Ayorinde Aina. Again, apologies if I'm slaying your names. All right, this is
Oh my
exactly
goodness.
apologies, please.
It's
So
actually my name is Slade.
this is exactly 13 minutes past 5. So you will be stopped in 15 minutes from now. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm Jonathan Uziemi Faisal Kiligo, and the Petroleum Technologies team lead. And together with my colleague Ayorinde, we'll be presenting on integrated petroleum engineering evaluation of the Africa field, which we did throughout the past 5 weeks. Please, the next slide. So during the course of my presentation, we'll go through the presentation slide is not the way it is though. It's can I share from my end because it's not what I have here. It's the formatting is different. There'll also be presentation outline. So during the course of my presentation, I'll go through from the objectives to the field overview, and then we'll end at the economic analysis. Can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide. So the presentation objectives. So what are the objectives of this our presentation today? We want to perform a well performance analysis of all 8 wells that was given to us in the Africa field, and then we diagnose the key problems in those wells, and then we propose well intervention opportunities for each wells, and then we do the economic analysis, and then we'll provide our recommendations on how to go about the field. Next slide, please. So the field overview starts with, so the reservoir, the Africa field that will concern with this, it contains 3 reservoirs which are stacked in a vertical order. And in this field, we have 8 different wells that was drilled from 2003 to 2010. They are both appraisers and development wells. In terms of the geological settings, each of these reservoirs are separated by a shale formation. So the shading right now is more like acting as probably like the cap rock separating one reservoir from the other reservoir. And the feed is deposited in a fluvial deltaic environment, which is complicated because we have the depositional features like channels in the reservoirs. And in terms of the reservoir quality, the sandstone actually is a bit high to moderate porosity and good permeability, which is very, very good in terms of our production rates and oil for a reservoir. So with this quality of reservoir, we will have opportunities. So maybe like on combined drainage, modern zone completions, and selective well interventions. Next slide, please. So the production geology summary. So we started off with the geology part of things. So to understand, okay, what's our area of the location of our well is, what's our feed about, what volumes are we talking about, the rock volume, and also the stock tank orientation in place. So we were able to use the structural mass given to us. We use the grid method to calculate the area. So the grid is actually imposed on this crane on the feed, as you can see it in the reservoir. So we have to calculate the areas for the red portion. So the red side is the hydrocarbon bearing zone. Then the blue line you're seeing there is the water contact, and the other white part is the water area. So we calculated the area for the reservoir of interest. In this case, we're using Africa as a case study. After calculating the area, we're able to get our gross rock volume using the standard formula of area times height, and then we calculated for our STOIIP, stock tank oil initially in place, using the standard formula of 7,758 times area times H times porosity, all in brackets, 1 minus water saturation, all in brackets, and the oil formation volume factor. Please, the next slide. So after getting, okay, we've already understood, okay, we have certain amounts of hydrocarbon initially in place. So how do we integrate these geology parts to the petrophysics? So to know, okay, do we have water in this our reservoir? Do we have gas in this our reservoir? Do we have oil? Or is it a mix of just oil and water, or just all a combine of all three? So doing this will need logs to help us identify and actually differentiate our reservoirs using our reservoir. So the first log you're seeing here is the gamma ray log. So it's more like just uses the radioactivity nature present in compounds, right? For example, like shale contains high radioactive elements, maybe like uranium. So shale will deflect to the right, while sandstone does not contain high resistivity and does not contain radioactive elements. So it's going to deflect to the left. So with this, we can differentiate between sandstones and reservoir formations. Then we'll be able to discriminate, okay, these are sandstone, these are reservoir, but what kind of fluids do we have in there? Where, at what point do we have the water, and at what point do you have hydrocarbon? That's when we use the resistivity log. So it just works by measuring the resistivity of the fluid. Like for example, water conducts electricity, so the resistivity is going to be low. Hydrocarbon, on the other hand, do not conduct electricity, so the resistivity is going to be high. So this will be able to differentiate between the hydrocarbon area and also the water. So after differentiating between, okay, the hydrocarbon and water, how do we differentiate if this hydrocarbon is actually gas or if it's actually oil? So use that using the neutron porosity law to do that. So basically just using the neutron density and the neutron porosity and the porosity instead, like mixing of neutrons in, because oil has hydrocarbon, water has, gas has lower neutrons. So when we have areas of low neutrons, we know, okay, this is gas. When we see areas of high neutrons, we know that this is probably oil. So with that, we're able to differentiate and get our water contacts and our perforation intervals. So with the perforation interval, we'll be able to know, okay, this is the path whereby we actually produce from. Like in this case now, from the law we have here, it says us, okay, in Africa 3 is a place whereby we produce where we're producing the oil from, and also in Africa 2 for this particular well, which is E2007. Please, the next slide. So now we have to go to the reservoir engineering part. Now we've been able to establish the fact that, okay, we have oil in this our reservoir, because from what we've seen, the reservoir is more of oil. So then we have to understand, okay, what's our productivity index? So the productivity index basically just tells us, okay, how well are we producing? How just gives us an idea of the deliverability of our reservoir. So if we have high productivity index, means that, okay, this our reservoir is good. So we do that using our drawdown and our flow rates. And to get our drawdown, we have to get the difference between our static pressure and our flowing bottom hole pressure. And the other side is more like a pivot characterization to understand the behavior of our fluid. So we just use AFRI1, for example, as a case study. Because of time, we'll not go through everything. I will just use the viscosity versus pressure plot. So yeah, we just observe a difference that once as the reservoir pressure reduces, once it gets to the bubble point pressure, that's the point where gas starts to liberate. And once gas liberating out of the solution, what will happen? The gas will be produced, while the oil will be more viscous, because the gas in it was the one that was losing the viscosity of the solution. So once the gas leaves, the oil viscosity increases. So this can also give us like an indication of, okay, should we start to use like gas leaves at this point? So next slide, please. Next slide, please. Going to the production technology. So which data do we use for our analysis? So we use our well history, which we use to interpret interventions, to know, okay, if there was interventions before, just to get the past events and understand, okay, what has been happening in this our world before. Then we use our well schematic, which is to understand, okay, what kind of population design did we use and what's like the flow path. We use a dual string or we just use a single string. How many gas leaves do we have in this particular string and stuff like that. And then we have the well performance plots. So this is like the meat of everything. So this tells us how the well is performing. It helps us diagnose the well problem and also to provide intervention opportunities. And we have the nodal analysis report, which gave us the startup oil rates after the intervention. And we also have our production data, which we use to analyze the well rates, the trends, and decline behavior to know, actually to also forecast and to get our decline curve analysis. From the decline curve analysis, we can then forecast into the well, into the future. Please, next slide. So for the well analysis, this is like the methodology we use to diagnose the well using our well performance plus, and we're using the E2010, everyone E2010 as a case study in this case. So you can see that from the first phase between 2010 to 2015, we have a stable decline, right? But when it gets to around 2014 close to 2015, the shock size, the B now was increased. So this increase in bean size then led to a spike in the in our liquid rates and a drop in our production, in our oil rates. So this giving us an indication that at this point we're not producing more of liquid, more of water instead of oil. And before around 2017, we can see that there's like a short-end period telling us that at this point, maybe they did some form of intervention to restore the well. But even after the intervention, we still saw that, okay, the liquid rate was still high and the production rates tried to move a bit, but then it was still started dropping. But one thing of importance that we should note here is that the water cut is relatively low. So which means that we are not really experiencing much water production. Wow, we're not experiencing much water production again. And using the shunt plots, we were able to diagnose, okay, this our production is due to corning from our shunt plots. Can please the next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. So on the same procedure, that was also used to do the well analysis for E2007 and also for use the sham plots to understand, okay, this is the water and problem we're having. If the water cut is due to corning or channeling. Please, the next slide. So from the well performance plots, we're able to give different diagnoses and also rank our well based on the health status. Like our E2010 is the best performing well because it's still producing has low water cost of just 35%. And we could do recommendation of like, okay, we should bring down, optimize down sleep, or we should use well burst stimulation. Please, the next slide. So basically, the same process we used to analyze and diagnose the well problems and also to give intervention, the same thing we did here. And we noticed that in the number 7 and 8, we did not advise for us to do any form of intervention because the water is already too high. We already have about 95% water cut, and in the number 8, which is after 2006, the well is already inactive since 2009. Please, next slide. So this is a decline curve analysis, which we did from the production data from 2006 to 2025. And we also did a forecast from 2025 to 2028. And we got our EUR, our estimates, ultimate recovery of 1 million plus. Please, the next slide. So at this point, I'll be calling my colleague Ayo to complete the economic evaluation.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. For the economic evaluation process, please just help me press the next while all the evaluation process comes up. We took robust output for our geology, petrophysics, our production technology analysis to take our technical input. We did our reservoir performance diagnosis and the remaining movable oil estimate and intervention-specific CapEx and operating expenditure. For the economic assumptions, we applied a conservative and realistic base case provided. To build our economic model, we made sure that all cash flows were built in a fully auditable post-tax discounted cash flow model. Every deduction, royalty, operating expenditure, depreciation, petroleum profit tax were calculated line by line exactly as required by the Petroleum Industry Act of 2021. And to get our economic result, we made sure all generated key decisions metrics like NPV and undiscounted payback were fully calculated. And we took our rule and sensitivity analysis. Please, next slide. These are the key assumptions, the base case and the CapEx per activity and the fiscal regime deduction that we use. Next slide, please.
You have 30 more seconds, please. Just
Next slide, please. Okay, after our economic analysis, our results yield NPV. The highest NPV here was 2010 with 12.36 million USD, and also following it was 2010 with 12.26 million USD. Please, next slide. During our analysis, our NRWO, that's our non-rig workover portfolio, delivers exceptional financial returns that would be sanctioned immediately by any JV asset team in Nigeria. Specifically,
I would have to stop you. Your time is up. So please, thank you very much for your presentation, and we appreciate all the knowledge shared and solution provided. So at this time, we'll move on to the question and answer session or feedback from our panel of judges, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Team F. I think I'll just give a piece of advice for next time. I see you have so many things you still wanted to go through that you were not able to. You should know how many minutes you have to do your presentation. Try to practice before the presentation and time yourself so that you don't finish preparing slides and you're not able to share it. Okay, I have a question from the first presenter, Uzemefeta. I hope I'm not slaying your name. When you showed the well log, I want to know how many wells did you get data, the gamma ray, neutron density log from? Because I noticed that your well log was shown in measured depth in MD, and you know that measured depth varies from well to well. So was it just one well data you used for the well correlation, for the well log correlation? And did you try to know what the true vertical depth is? Because before you say your OWC is this, you have to make sure that all your wells are all stacked in true vertical depth, because a well can be deviated and the measured depth will be, very far from what the TVD is. So maybe next time when you want to show that kind of a plot, you should, if you have, you should have, because you mentioned 8 wells. I'm sure you have more than one well with data. You have to align your well logs in TVDSS so that we will be sure of the depth you are quoting. And then the second question I wanted to know is when you mentioned that you calculated the drawdown, I'm wondering, did you take into cognizance the type of completion that was used around the wall, near wellbore area? Because you know that the drawdown you have from a well that was gravel packed is different from a well that you use a screen. So there are different types of completion types to give you the drawdown. Was this taken into cognizance, or did you just do, because I'm sure if you have 8 wells, they will have different completion types. it would be nice for you to mention the types of completions that were used and the drawdowns that you calculated based on the completion time. We know that for open hole completions, the drawdowns are very small, you know, compared to the other type of completions. So you should give more thoughts or more light in it. So I'm going to allow the other judges to say some comment, but thank you so much. So please, next time, do your practice so that you'll be able to present all the slides you have prepared. Thank you.
Thank you. For the last question, it's cased hold and there was no screen for all the 8 words. There was no screen, it was not graphic packed. And the well log you saw there was just like I used this case study for just one well because of time to explain one particular way. And it's TBD, all the words are vertical, none of them were major text. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have
Okay. I think that's already Stamina talking. As a wonderful presentation. I think Olushi made some good points. But what I want to say is, I think you dwell too much on the geologic aspect of your slide. Explain. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. So you dwell too much on that. I think I don't think that was too necessary because that hit up all your time for other slides. So next time, own your slide and just talk through it and move on to the next slide. You don't need to spend much time explaining what radioactivity is and what radioactivity is not. I think that's advice I'm going to give there. Thanks for my comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tamino. Do we have any more feedback, please, from our judges? Okay, so I don't see any of them trying to unmute or having a hand raised to give feedback. For me, I would just, like Mr. Tamino said, you know your work, right? Or you ought to know your work. You ought to know what you came here to tell us about. I mean, the slide makes it much easier to apprehend or understand, right? Or gives it a better interest. There could be technical glitches. There could be any issue that could come up that would make the slide not go to the next page. So you can just continue the explanation and make sure people get your story so that you utilize all the time you have. So if you don't have any other feedback or questions from our judges, I see Mr. Chike, your mic is on mute. Do you want to say something, please, sir?
Mute, yes, thanks. I think I have. This is another good presentations, but just a bit of feedback. I know when Zeme also started, I was expecting the usual transition that goes into a teamwork. I don't know, maybe I saw him transverse Geoscience, RE, PPRE. Maybe that was just the team, the team decision, which is not bad. But then a couple of things we are also expected. I was expecting the 8 wells. You mentioned that 8 wells, even though whether how many of them were appraisal wells or development wells wasn't clear. I think one of your slides. So when you're detailing those overviews, it's good to have clearly how many appraisal or development wells. And just like one of the judges mentioned, then you then detail the data availability from each of the wells, from maybe PVT logs and all the suite of data that you have. And there you can then get the gaps and the mitigation of how you handle them. So I saw where you were trying to interpret the logs and all that. So it wasn't clear the initial pressures when you went into the RE side. What was are those reservoirs, are they saturated or are they undersaturated and all that? Those need to be clear as you move from those different disciplines. Like I mentioned earlier, the collaboration and the synergy shows interdependencies of each of those disciplines, because at the end of each, you have a handshake, and then it becomes an input to the next discipline. So take care of that. One other thing I noticed was when you did your goal performance, which is a good one around the PT area, but it would be nice to have that very well detailed, identify the problem, and then it becomes the problem at hand to then take to forecasting, because at the end of the day, the product is forecasted. And I didn't see that clearly in the decline curve that we are talking about. And then how that progressed to Ayo. Ayo, well done, by the way, at the economy side, even though time was against you. I like the bits, starting, the assumptions, the economics, and how you were able to detail it, and also profitability indicators. What I didn't see is a cash flow profile, and you are showing your, investment, your value to investment ratio and payback of 3 years. I didn't see that. It would have been nice to show the cash flow profile, but we didn't see that. But your flow was okay in the economics beats, and well done, team. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chike. Thank you so much to all our judges that have made a contribution so far. So if if we're not getting any further one, we're going to take the next 1 minute for our judges to rate and score Team F for their presentation. Well done once again, Team F. Great presentation and great work. So while our judges are achieving this, Team A should ensure they are ready. They are gearing up to give us their own presentation in the next 40 seconds, please. And just to mention on the side, Team A is our next presenter. They will be presenting on
Hey, God, I beg.
kindly mute. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening to our esteemed judges and
apologies. I guess you're Team A, member of Team A. Yeah.
Yes, please.
I haven't called yet.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Glad to know you're geared and ready for this. So anyways, we'll move on to Team A for their presentation. And at this time, yes, please, you can go ahead and take the virtual podium. You're starting at 5:41, and you'll be stopped at exactly 15 minutes from now. Please go ahead.
All right. A very good evening, everyone. Greetings to our judges, to the sponsors and partners of this great event. So this is Team A, and here is our presentation. The next slide, please. Okay, so basically this bootcamp provided us with hands-on training in petroleum engineering. It was very worthwhile and riveting experience for us. 5 major areas were covered: geology, petrophysics, reservoir engineering, production technology, and petroleum economics. So those are the areas that were captured and covered in this petroleum engineering bootcamp. So we'll go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Okay. So we worked on Now we have 8 wells, actually. We have 8 wells, all right? So each well was analyzed using practical engineering tools. So I just want to quickly fix that. We analyzed each well using practical engineering tools. Next slide, please. So I'd like to call on one of our team members to weigh in here. Uraola, please can you take up this part? Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm to esteemed judges. So thank you for the opportunity. So I'll be giving the presentation on geology. So on geology, what we learned majorly, we were given 3 maps that we worked on. So which was the 3 reservoirs, and then we have 8 wells that we worked on. So on the 8 wells, we're given some information about the average thickness, the permeability of the reservoir, the net to gross, water saturation, porosity, oil formation, volume factor, API. So for us, majorly to determine the STOIIP of the reservoir, and then with that, we were able to get the gross rock volume first, then which we used to determine the STOIIP of the reservoir. This was done, and for each reservoir, we're able to get the different stock barrels that we have for the reservoirs. Then that's on geology, that was what we did on geology. Then on petrophysics, we worked on the reservoirs that we have, then to know the oil, where the oil is, the oil well contact, and the oil water contact, and the formations, the shales, sands, and all that we were able to use to determine the fluid that was in place for the reservoirs. So we had, as I said earlier, we had majorly 8 wells that we worked on. So for the first well, which was well 2003, we determined, okay, we're able to get the logs that we used to determine where the hydrocarbon is. We use the gamma ray. Gamma ray helps us to determine where the sand is, the shale is, and then we use the resistivity log to determine where the hydrocarbon is, the water, and then the neutron and the neutron logs. And with the combination of resistivity log, which we use to determine where the oil is with the bubbles, the bubble to get where the oil is, where the gas is, and where the water is. So that's majorly what we did for the petrophysics that we had. So the next we had the reservoir engineering. So I'll leave that to my colleague, which will give us the update on the reservoir engineering and then the other fields that we worked on. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so we also have the petroleum technology, but I think I'll quickly, it's probably an oversight. Reservoir engineering was done. We worked on the reservoir engineering side of things. We looked at the pressure gradient analysis to determine the static and flowing bottom hole pressures. And for the reservoirs and wells, we also looked at the reservoir deliverability and well productivity index analysis for each producing reservoir interval. And then we looked at fluid PVT characterization and PVT data quality check. And lastly, we provided our comments and interpretations based on any observed differences. And then, I don't know if Jenny, can you hear me? One of us on the call. You can take on the next slide. Are you there? Okay, so I'll just move on because of want of time. Production technology, we also looked at well completion techniques, surface and subsurface equipment, flow assurance principles, separation systems for the production technology. The PT side of things led to the final stage, final work, which is on petroleum economics. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the petroleum economics, we looked at the cost analysis, project profitability, economic decision-making, and revenue estimation. At the end of the day, in the industry, everything comes down to the bottom line, right? If it doesn't, there's no profitability, there's the investment is defeated. All right, so let's go to the next slide. We did quite some work on this petroleum economics, and it took us quite some time. So we had an overview of economic analysis and ranking. Okay, we used NPV, IRR, payback period to assess well intervention opportunities effectively for petroleum economics. We also made some assumptions. Oil price set at $65 per barrel, variable costs, $6 per barrel, fixed costs, and some other factors. Then our decision framework was anchored on opportunities ranked by NPV and validated by the payback period to prioritize interventions into tiers. So we prioritize the intervention into tiers. We also did the decline curve analysis. And then at the end of the day, we were able to put them up in tiers. We're able to rank up all our wells in tiers. And at the end of the day, we're able to come up with one of our wells, the W2060. That well had the highest NPV value, okay? And there are some other wells down the line that also had values, but that well stood out. All right, that well stood out in our petroleum economic analysis. And next slide, please. Okay, yes. So we have no, go back, please. Yes, so we have our forecasts. So we came up with this. We're able to input our values in production line and did our intervention, water shutout, and some other inputs we made, and we came up with this forecast. Okay, next slide, please. And then we had some key practical performances we alluded earlier: graded maps, stock tank oil place calculations, well log interpretation, production forecast, cost analysis, gradient calculation. So these are some of the key takeaways we have from this. Next slide. And of course, we had skills we acquired from this. This was a very productive session for everyone. Everyone made relevant inputs, and it was worth the experience and more. I would say everyone gained something. So technical and operational engineering skills were gained, reservoir evaluation, production analysis.
5 more minutes, please.
Come again, how many more minutes?
5 more minutes, sir.
Okay, so economic decision making. And of course, team collaboration. So we were able to really collaborate as a team, and it was good to learn a lot in that. So our team play skills also came to the fore. All right, and then we have that skills acquired have been mentioned. Okay, next slide, please. So in conclusion, the bootcamp provided intensive exposure to core petroleum engineering disciplines. The hands-on exercises enhanced real-world understanding of everything we did. So I just want to quickly circle back. We have concluded, but I want to quickly circle back since we still have some time, that we're able to come up with, just want to reemphasize that we're able to come up with the well that has the highest value for investment, rate of returns. Okay, and that happened to be the FRW 2006T well. All right, so that had the highest NPV, and then some other wells. So that is what we are recommending to the management. to go ahead with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You still have 3 more minutes, just in case you want to still elaborate on anything.
Okay, I don't know if any other member of the team who want to weigh in. Jenny, Nami, Michael. Okay, so we'd have us say anything. Yes, please. And of course, Eyo can also help us speak to what has been said and lend credence to it.
Okay, looks like we don't have any more contributions or feedback. Well done.
Okay.
Well done.
I think I don't know what to say. Thank you, Team A, but I must confess, I don't know, is it that the pictures were not showing on my side, or you did not remember to put your logs and your, any pictorial representation of what you did? The only thing I saw was the cash flow or the economics forecast. That was all I saw. And this is a geoscience presentation. This is technical. It's not a history class. All the work you did, you just kept for yourself, for your consumption, because I didn't see anything. I can't speak to anything you did. I don't know if this is your slide or your slide is somewhere else and you did not remember to bring it in. Please, you can respond, because I thought it was stuck on my side until I saw that the heading was actually changing, but the slides were still empty. I don't know how to judge, because it's difficult to speak to your presentation.
Okay.
Was that a mistake?
No, that wasn't that we had some oversights, but we actually, due to we had some constraints with time, and so that was the reason for that. But we actually have another slide. Just that we don't have the liberty to share it. It's being shared from source. So we have something that has more pictures. So, but that is not feasible at the moment because of the rules of engagement. So we're not able to share that.
Please, who is
I think I would just say that what you have done is equivalent to someone that answered mathematics question and then took all his workings and hid and just showed the answer. The answer is 2. The answer is 3. There's no way for anybody to verify how he arrived at his answer. I'll let the other judges speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
So can you tell us why? Because this is supposed to be an integrated effort, and somebody should be presenting the slides, working on the slides. Is there a reason why you submitted a slide that was not complete? Hello?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
So yes, like I said, we had some constraints. So we did work together. We had a group where we were working together and exchanging ideas, but we had some constraints that were actually beyond our control, and so that's why that came up.
Hello, can I say something?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, but there's something you have to understand. 0 times 100 is still 0. So I don't think you don't have to give that excuse. All of you had the same time. If you imagine you're presenting president of an investor and who wants to put his money into what you're doing, and you're telling him that because of lack of time, you have the same amount of time allotted for each of you. So I think the take home is next time you prepare very well and put your slides on like what Olushi said. We didn't see anything. We were just talking, and I was just watching a blank screen. So please do better next time. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and there are investors too, actually, just to mention. Okay, so do we have any other feedback from any other of the judges or?
Yeah, sorry, Chike here. I got another call, but I don't know. I think he has covered a lot. I just joined back. I was waiting to get my feedback into the room for Team A. So Joel and Ayo, I think. Thank you for that's Team A. Thank you for the presentation. What I see is, I think at the last part of the discussion, I overheard my co-judge mentioning that I think that you didn't do the justice to your slides. In this part of the world, or sorry, in this part of the sector where we are, the things in your head, we need to see them. And then they are called, even in negotiation where you don't put so much on the table, you need to present to management the high notes and the how you're able to get your results. So what we are seeing was basically the technical, I mean, thematic presentation, qualitative things that you were talking. The slides were just not carrying any maybe volume of knowledge that we can, link to how you made your deductions. And this is very clear, even with the collaborations across the disciplines. So there was nothing shown. The cash flow profile you suddenly showed during economics part of this presentation was just, I don't know where it was coming from. So you would have done that, discipline after discipline, and then put those in place. There was no data shown, and how those profile came, we didn't know. How the wells with the highest MPV that you mentioned was selected was not clear. So, assuming it's a management, they didn't see anything. So clearly, I think you need to look at this is an FDP type of group work. So the collaboration is very key, and the way the data is being used for evidence-based analysis is also key. So for me, I think you really need to improve on this. But I think the feedbacks are a bit constructive for you to know all we are talking about. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you so much to all our judges so far that have made their contributions. And if we don't have any other contributions or feedbacks or questions for the team, I would say we can move on to our 1 minute timing of scoring. Team A, please. All right, few more seconds into our scoring session, and then we can move on to the next team presentation, which will be Team B. So Team B, I hope we're gearing up and ready to make our presentation in a few seconds. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we move on to Team B. I'll be making the next presentation, and they'll be making a presentation on well performance and economic analysis for intervention prioritization in Africa field. So at this time, I welcome Team B to please go ahead and make their presentation. This is exactly 3 minutes past 6, so you will be stopped at 15 minutes after now. Thank you very much. Please go ahead. Team B, I see Diana, Kizito, Ogechi. Your time has already started already, just to let you know.
Good evening, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Good evening, judges. Thank you so much, SPE and staff assistant for this bootcamp. So this can be presentation for. Please, next slide. The agenda for us, we had week 1, which is reservoir geology and geophysics. We had the petroleum petrophysics evaluation. We had the reservoir engineering analysis. We had the production and optimization and intervention analysis, and we also had the petroleum economics. So please go to the next slide. So actually so we in calculating for our GRV and stock oil initially in place, we actually used 2 methods because of the area. So in getting the area, actually used 2 methods from the seismic map given to us. We used the trapezoidal rule, and we also used the complete the square method. So when we did both, we had areas from we had variant areas from both of them. We had areas from both of them for the 3 reservoirs, which is AFRI 1, AFRI 2, and AFRI 3. So we also had differences. The first one between the trapezoidal rule and the complete square method, we had about a difference of 37.7%. For the AFRI 2, we had a difference of 3.06%, and for AFRI 3, we had a difference of 0.7%. This next slide. So when the areas we got, we calculated the gross work volume, and from the gross work volume, we were able to calculate the stock oil initially in place. So for calculation of the stock oil initially placed, we had different results from the trapezoidal rule, the area gotten from the trapezoidal rule, and the area gotten from the completing the square method. So these are also the differences, which is also tallies with the differences gotten from the gross reservoir volume. So this actually is the stock oil initially in place estimate in million stock time barrel. This next slide, please. From our deduction from what we got, we were able to separate the reservoirs AFRI 1, AFRI 2, and AFRI 3 into tiers. And from our deduction, we had the tier 1 and tier 2. They had the contingency, which we actually put under the field of marginal resource. So the tier 1, we had AFRI 3, which was actually the primary commercial asset. So the volume gotten from that was 37.54 million stock time barrel with a minimal uncertainty, because we did a comparing analysis between
the trapezoidal and the complete square method. So it had a very minimal difference, which was 0.7% between the two methods used. Then we had the secondary, which is actually the tier 2, a secondary significant secondary target, which we had about 33.83 million stock time barrel, with a very also kind of a very low uncertainty of 4.44% difference. Then for the constituency, we had the AFI1, which will have the very small volume of 17.45 million stock time barrel, and which had like a break. So we are able to characterize it. So our advice to the management is to start with the AFI3, because of from the geology point of view, due to the high reserve and due to the very minimum difference when it comes to the two methods. Then we had the total stock time barrel for the 3 reservoirs on 88.82 million stock time barrel initially in place. So please, the next slide, please. Next.
Yes, I'm on the next slide. Can you confirm you can see it? Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go for it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
For the next slide on petrophysics, for the petrophysics angle, we are giving 8 wells. The 8 well contained the gamma ray log, contained the resistivity log, and contained the neon density logs. So from the 8 wells, we're able to like deduct what we are giving E 2007, E 2008, E 2009, E 2010, W 2003, W 2006, W 2007, W 2010. So please move to the next slide, please. Okay, so from this slide, you're able to work with the logs. We did a cost plot among all of them, able to work with the cost plot, whereby we're able to identify the sand and shale region. We're able to identify on the resistivity log, okay, where there is hydrocarbons, or if there is water or hydrocarbons. We're able to use the density log to know, okay, if it is gas or if it is oil. From our deduction, we noticed that it was an undersaturated reservoir. There was no gas. We just oil and water present. And we had from these deductions here, from all the logs we did, we had the top, we had the base, we had the oil water contact, we had the reservoir thickness, which was in feet, and this is actually the two vertical depth, and we had the water zone thickness, which is actually in feet too. So we had these are deductions from all the logs we did, from the 8 logs. From the 8 logs we did, and these are the deductions from all of them. Please, next slide. So from the next slide, we discovered that the AFI1, which actually reservoir, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, so for this slide shows our advice to management. AFI1 had the shallowest. AFI1 had the shallowest well from 7230 to 7290 feet top, and AFI2 had the consistency around 7335 to 738 feet. Then we noticed that the AFI3 had the deepest and thickest reservoirs, because that deepest and thickest reservoirs from the cost plots from our site, from our well log maps and everything. So on the feed interpretation, like we also deducted the feed interpretation to advise management all pay zones live within clean sand intervals, because we had clean sand, and we had the sand were very clean, and they were literally continuity confirmed across all reservoirs. So the reservoirs were continuous. We had reservoir stacking and oil water contact aligned perfectly across all wells. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. This was actually the plot we came up with, where we showed the oil zone, the hydrocarbon water zone, and oil water contact. So this plot was able to show this is hydrocarbon distribution stick plot, oil above oil water contact. So this was the plot that we used in the visualizing, okay, the oil placement and where the oil water contact is and where the water zone is. So this is also for this is the presentation for the petrophysicist. Please my teammates will continue with the rest. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Wilfred. Please, can I have the next slide? Hello, can you hear me?
I'm on the next slide. Can you see it?
Wow. Okay. We carried out the reservoir engineering analysis to evaluate reservoir pressure behavior by determining the static and flowing bottom hole pressure, to quantify well deliverability and productivity by calculating the productivity index and identify factors affecting well performance, diagnose formation damage, completion effectiveness, and flow efficiency. Also, to characterize reservoir and fluid properties by analyzing the PVT data to understand fluid behavior under varying pressures. We also did it to support accurate reservoir and oil initial in-place estimation. Also, to improve production forecast and field development planning by predicting future production performance using validated reservoir and fluid parameters. To ensure data quality and reduce uncertainty by validating pressure data, PVT results, and well test measurements. Next slide, please.
You have 4 more minutes, please.
For the bottom hole pressure, we interpolated the datum depth to find the datum pressure for the static wells and the top of perforation to find the and
Can't hear you, Diana, if you're speaking. Or is it just me?
so for the bottom hole pressure, can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, we interpolated the datum depths to find the datum pressure and also the top of perforation to get the pressure to use for the flowing pressure. We're still stuck on this slide. Gerald, please, can you move to the next slide? Okay, and then the next slide.
If you want the next slide, just tell me to move to the next slide.
Okay, I thought I said that you didn't hear me. For the deliverability and productivity index, we're able to calculate to find out that some wells has higher productivity index like the AFRI2 W 2060 and the AFRI1 E 2020. Also, we saw that AFRI1 2020 and W 2070 have low productivity index. In this case, would advise that a stimulation or workover operation be carried out for the wells with lower productivity index. Next slide. For the PVT data quality check, we had a reference value, which was the AFRI1, which we used to check the bottom pressure for the AFRI2 and the AFRI3. From this chart, we identified that AFRI2 and AFRI1 had similar fluid properties, but AFRI3 was slightly different. The oil formation volume factor and the gas oil ratio for AFRI3 were different from the reference value. The gas oil ratio for AFRI3 was over 58% different from the reference value, which signifies that the fluid is gas rich and lighter than the reference sample from AFRI1. Next slide, please. So the key insights: reservoir pressures are stable across all wells are productive,
have we three indicated signs of early depletion seen due to the gas-rich fluid? Would recommend for skin analysis for the low productivity index wells. Over to you, Wilfred.
Yeah, 1 more minute, please.
Thank you, Diane. From the production aspect, we evaluated 8 wells, including dual string completion using well schematics, historical performance of which wells produce over 16 years. Bearing this in mind, we use decline curve analysis to forecast and get a EUR while using VBA to code the APS rates equation. We use solver to determine the decline while using Excel as our work tool. We also did chart plots for water diagnosis and nodal analysis to diagnose constraints and estimate intervention. Next slide, please. Our results showed 2 strings such as W2060 and E2070, showing the highest remaining value but require intervention. That's for E2070 and W2060. Then
Sorry
3.
to cut in. Your time is up, Team B. Thank you for the amazing presentation. Maybe Gerald, you just move to the remaining slides they have for the participants to see. Thank you. So while this is going on, we're going to call on our panel of judges to please go ahead and present or give us their feedback, their take-homes, and questions for the team to answer to. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start. Thank you, Team B. At least you see an improvement compared to the very last presentation before yours. But then I'll still repeat what was said earlier. Pictorial representation of data is easier to understand faster than reading text messages. So if you can, please always put in your pictures, your well logs, your correlations, your maps, your plot, whatever it is that makes your picture that tells your story. And it's fast because you did the study, we didn't do it with you. So it might be clear in your head, but we are trying to catch up and follow the storyline. But with pictures, it's easier for us to understand exactly what you did and the problem we are trying to solve here. I have 2 questions. The first question is for the productivity index. I saw that the productivity index said it was better for 2 wells and then lower for another 2 wells. I want to know, what do you think is responsible for this productivity index difference between the wells? Did you try to look at the placement of the wells? Is it like the wells that were placed in a certain area had a better PI compared to wells in another place? Or is it the sand distribution? What is your take? Why do you have this difference in productivity index? So if you, I'd like you to throw more light there. And then my second question is to the petroleum technologies, I think production technician, Ogechi, right? Yeah, she said that you calculated, I don't know if you were the one that did the EUR. No, I don't think it should be the reservoir engineer. The ultimate recovery that you got, the EUR for this reservoir level you worked on. Did you compare it to what is expected of a field or a reservoir with the same production mechanism? You know, the average recovery factor you expect from a reservoir where you do water injection, from a gas well, from a gas reservoir, or where you do enhanced oil recovery. Did you try to compare if it's in line with the average expected recovery factor? Does it make sense to you what you heard? You can respond. Thank you.
Okay, for the wells with lower productivity index, it might be due to formation damage or completion inefficiency, and would advise that a simulation or work operation be carried out on those wells. Okay, please, you can respond to the second question.
Okay, so we did forecast from when the well stop producing. I'm sorry, I'm tense. From when the well stop producing to when we now had to like estimate when they started to produce to get our estimated ultimate recovery, ma'am. I don't know if that answers your question. Sorry.
No, I'm not sure you understood my question. I was talking in terms of the ultimate recovery. Is it in line with the production mechanism of the reservoir of the field, of the reservoir? If you're doing water injection or if you're doing natural depletion, or I mean, did you compare the fraction, the ratio, if it's in line with what is expected in that kind of reservoir? Or maybe it's the reservoir engineer that should answer that question.
No, ma, we did not carry out the ultimate water recovery for the reservoir analysis.
Okay, just a piece of information. Next time you want to do this kind of presentation, you should tell us what is driving production in this level. Is it are you injecting or you're just depleting or gas expansion, whatever it is. So this way it will guide you when you're calculating your RF. You'll be able to say that my RF is in line with what is accepted in the industry for this kind of. Just to know if it's in line with what is expected, because sometimes it could be that your in-place volume is not even correct. So it will now make you check if your in-place volume estimation was even correct, or maybe the production allocation, if there's a problem with the metering, just to know, give you a feeling of what the production should be compared to what is expected. Thank
Okay,
you
Hello,
for the
ma'am.
Thank
presentation.
you.
Hello, ma'am. I have so we didn't carry out any calculation when it comes to the drive mechanism. The task assigned to us was just calculate the gross work volume and just the stock or initial in place. We didn't they didn't give us any further task of kind of material balance equations. Neither that was given for us to that or the drive mechanism. Neither did we get any information for for the recovery factor, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I can talk. I don't have much anyway. Thank you, Oloshi, for I think the comment you made on that. I think what is missing, one of the things that I would advise maybe, because that will give some of us clearer picture when we are making our comment. I think your data inventory is very, very important. I think with your data inventory, I can make a lot of judgment based on your presentation. So there's no data inventory, so that I'll be able to know the gaps in order to make a good decision when judging you. So please, maybe just subsequently, or maybe even when you get good placement, I think when you're making analysis like this, your data inventory is key. That's number one. Number two, in terms of your fluid characterization, where I'm looking at your plot, I can't remember who made that presentation. Where I see your ROS, I was really struggling with I saw your BO, I saw the plot on your ROS, and I'm not trying to, it's not really making much of a sense in terms of when you're plotting your ROS against your, I think, your pressure. There's a lot of, I don't know how to put it, but I don't understand the graph. I was making sense out of the graph, comparing it with your BO that I'm seeing there. So I think next time it is quite important that even your PVT must be quality checked before ever you even use it as part of your data input in your analysis. So I think this is the only thing I'm going to say. I wish I said most of the things that I wanted to say. Thank you and wonderful presentation. Thanks.
Okay, hello?
Yes, please,
Can you,
go
ma?
ahead. I hear you.
Okay, so my comment is more about presentation generally. There's a art to presentation when you're trying to pass information to people. You know, we weren't there with you when you were doing the technical studies. We weren't there with you when you did the work. So when you present to us, at the end of any presentation, I'm supposed to be like, understand the data that you have in the field, understand the quality of the field, the quality of the data in the field, understand the work that went into it. I don't know if there were properties shared, and you know, this generally goes for all the teams. If there were properties shared with us, we are talking about GIP equations, and I'm not even seeing the input into STOIP equation, sorry, and I'm not even seeing what forms the input into the STOIP. We're having STOIP calculations. We're looking at the petrophysics and we're only talking about the reservoir quality, but there are no numbers to it. You know, even the geological descriptions are not as detailed. I would have liked it. For some of your slides, I noticed that the pictures that they comment, a slide will have a lot of, most of your slides were wordy. So no pictures. So, you know, a picture tells 1,000 words. It tells 1,000 stories. And then if you have a picture with some smart text, you've won your audience. So if I'm seeing a slide that is only text, I don't know if you're expecting me to read it. Some of us have been working for 15, over 15 years. We have eye problem. But when we see picture, it's easier for us to understand what's going on. And like we just saw a graph now, we're able to say, okay, what are the labels on your axis? What story is this graph telling me? But when you show me words, it's kind of, tough for me to make head and tail of it, considering the speed at which we are going through these slides. And then generally, I think you did a lot much work in the I'm a petrophysicist, so I think you did a lot more work in the petrophysics aspect, but FDPs, like my colleagues have said, is an integrated factor. Every discipline has an input, and I feel that that integration could have been tighter in this. I know you did a lot of work, and for first timers, this is your introduction to working on integrated team where everybody's work is just as important as the other. So good job on everything you have done so far. And, with some of these tips you're getting, you can even do better job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma, for the feedback.
Thank you, ma, for the feedback. Thank you so much, ma.
Well noted, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Stella. Do we have any other feedback from the rest of our judges?
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Well said, judges. I think these are very clear comments, improvement comments that, if taken across the different teams, it's going to be value adding. For me, Team B, in the spirit of continuous improvement and incremental process, I think I saw a lot more of what I didn't see in most of the other disciplines. I think Wilfred, Diana, and Ugechi, within the allotted time, tried as much as possible to cover some grounds, even though there are some, analysis where I would have loved a bit of question, which Ogechi and Tamino and of course Stella tried to also highlight. But overall, I saw, you know, some of the tables and some clear explanations. The only missing point for me was the collaboration and the closing the loop between the disciplines. And then I didn't see quite a lot around some of the, interpolated. I hear when he was saying, I interpolated. Please explain to me. I think this is a question. Please explain to me the comment. You interpolated the datum depth, get the datum. We are saying something. I need that clarity. And then PVT quality check. When you're doing PVT quality check, I saw a table. Yeah, most of the temperature and some of those PVT tables were there of values. But you didn't show anything about characterization. So when you are doing PVT quality check, what are you actually referring to? Why we are highlighting some of this is that these concepts are very key when you are doing studies. so that you don't do PVT analysis and just looking at estimation of PVT properties, and you are referring to PVT quality check and characterization. I saw characterization in one of teams. So we need to be very clear. And then with all this, I didn't see anywhere where we have ultimate UR and UR, ultimate recovery, and the recovery factor, because we need to know the remaining reserve at any phase of our development before we'll be talking about, technologies or maybe short off or incremental, asset management kind of activities or infill to increase or improve recovery of the remaining reserve. So it's important. And I like the part that Wilfred that chipped in about when I think it was Oluchi that was asking the something that has to do with the mechanisms and, if you like, the drive mechanisms. It will be very difficult to get all that because you didn't do MBAL. Now, as an improvement, I will move to, maybe I'll take that with Pringle. We need to increase some of the scope of when we do this again, so that when you're doing studies, you can do analytical modeling with MBAL. It gives you an idea of what is the drive mechanism, what is supplying what in your porous media, and the recovery mechanism, what is contributing to what. And maybe that is one challenge that we need to take, maybe at SPE level, to see how we can also get student versions of softwares that will allow us to do some if we really need them. But for me, overall, good work so far. I like the fact, but please explain to me what you mean by you use the interpolated datum depth to get pressure somewhere. Just that was Diana, I think. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind comments. So for this estimation, we're given the datum depths using the pressure gradient that we got. We were able to extrapolate using Excel to get the datum pressure for the static reservoirs. And we got the top of perforation depth. From that, we were able to get the top of perforation pressure, which was used to estimate for the flowing reservoirs. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Then for the tables.
Is that a new method of estimating datum depth? I just want to know so that we can also use that as part of a SPE paper.
So for this analysis, we were already given the datum depth. We did not find that out. So what we got was the datum pressure. Okay. We were given the datum depth, and we were given a table that contains the depth and the pressure at different intervals, at different time events. Yes. So that was what we used to calculate for the datum pressure. So since we have the different depths and we have the datum depth, we use that to extrapolate to get the datum pressure for the 3 reservoirs. And we also use the same methods to get for the top of perforation. So during the petrophysics, we were given the plots where we were able to see the top of perforation. So we got the depth from that chart to get our top of perforation, did the extrapolation, and got the top of perforation pressure for our flowing reservoirs. Then for the PVT data quality check, we had reference values from AFRI1, and we used that to compare to AFRI2 and AFRI3. From the table, AFRI2 was very similar to AFRI1, but AFRI3 sample had some abnormalities. So the gas oil ratio for AFRI3 was over 58%. For AFRI1, it was around 420 from the chart. Meanwhile, for AFRI3, it rose up to over 900. So that was how we got to the conclusion that the oil in AFRI3 was more gas rich.
And you said gas rich. Is it volatile oil? So what that's saturated. So what is your deduction? Don't use gas rich oil.
Light oil, sir. Light
Yes,
oil, sir.
it's light.
Light oil, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so I think one pros or con of your presentation was that you didn't manage your time well, and we didn't see more of the economics, which of course is the tail end of what management would like to see and how that ties to profitability analysis. Yeah, so just my last comment. Thank you from me.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much, Mr. Chike. Thank you. Thank you, all our judges. Thank you for the amazing feedbacks and questions. And thank you to the team for providing answers and clarities to all these questions. Just to be, I don't know if I should use the word fair. I don't know if we want to give Team D that had issue at the beginning, if we want to give them a second chance to make a presentation again, or we've already graded them, we've already scored them for us to just move on with the program. I just thought I should throw that out there to our judges because it's your time, right? And I'm sure we want to make it your decision anyways. So please, our judges, what do we say? Do we call back on Team B to make their presentation again, or
Wait, what about Team C?
we don't have Team C? It's
Yes.
16.
Just to step in, we had a deadline for submission for the presentations just to ensure there was no fair advantage to any team. Fortunately, Team C missed that deadline by a very considerable time period, so we had to disqualify them from this presentation.
Okay.
Okay. For me, since it's okay, I was expecting that same questions from me for Team C, but it's clear that we don't have Team C, so it's only Team D. So judges, I think we just need to. I don't know what happened there initially. Is it a connectivity or internet issue? Are they ready now? We have 10 to 15 minutes. We can listen to them just to be fair to all the teams, but just to confirm that they are ready and indeed we can have that time. But I mean, judges, over to anyone who want to make comments too on this. But I think we should give them the benefit of doubt too.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chike. I think the problem they had was network, and network is not anybody's fault. But we understand that it is our time, so we will give them a benefit to show us what they have done, but we may have to cut down the time a bit to stick with our team. And it's a good thing that Team C is not here, so why not? Let's listen to them, please.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. I see Zipporah from Team D. So Team D, are you ready? Do you want to do this again, or I just see only Zipporah, surprisingly, except the other members have changed their tag names.
Yes, I'm actually here, man.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Agbo Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Yes, Emmanuel, I can hear
Yes.
you. All right, so
Okay,
this
thank
is
you.
hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So you've been granted the grace to be able to make this presentation again. We have 10 minutes, unlike the other presenters, and 10 minutes from now would be at 52. That's about 8 minutes into 7 o'clock. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I am Emmanuel Sunday Abo. Okay, from Team D. I'm so sorry for what happened the other time. Immediately the meeting started, it began to rain heavily. And that was what interrupted my network, but it's calm now. Okay, so slide, please. Thank you for the opportunity to actually do this again. Thank you so much. So, Sir Gerald, I can't see our slide.
Sorry, I had to look for it again.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but it's up now. Please go ahead.
Okay, okay.
Please go ahead, it's up. You know, you have 10 minutes.
Okay, trying to maximize because it's not showing well. Can you please minimize, please? I can't really see the screen very well. Okay, so this is the outline. Everything we did throughout the 5 weeks. Next slide. This is too big. I don't know why it's big on my end, but it's fine. So for the production geology, the deliverable was basically to find the GRV and the STOIB. So that's the equation for the STOIB. And then we're given the structural map, the contour map, and with the help of grid blocks, we're able to come up with the areas in acres. Those are the values you're seeing. Next slide. Okay, so for the petrophysics, it was basically about interpreting well logs and also finding the original fluid contacts. So we're giving standard well logs, the gamma ray log, the resistivity, and the neutron porosity log. So with the help of these three logs for the gamma ray, it was telling us about the sandstone, whether it's sandstone or shale. And there is basically sandstone, most of them, though we had shale there. And then with the help of resistivity, we could tell if it was water or oil or gas. And then with the help of the other one, neutron porosity log, we could tell if it was oil or gas. And they're looking at, I can't really see everything. It's too big, I can't really see everything. But I will just continue. So the key takeaway here is that there was no gas cap because of the absence of a neutron porosity crossover. And this is the distribution plot. Looking at it, you see that we only have water and oil across the three reservoirs. Yeah, across the three reservoirs. So the first one is the first reservoir, AFE1. The second one is the second reservoir, and the third level is the third reservoir. That's the AFE3. And I think 16. Yes, you can't really see everything here, but we designed the stuff ourselves. So we had about 16 different intervals across the 8 wells that have oil. Okay, next slide, sir. Nothing. Okay, so for the reservoir engineering aspect, I'm sorry, I'm going to just talk about everything because of time, so we just manage the time. So in the reservoir engineering aspect, we focused on the deliverable, basically the pressure gradient and the well productivity, as well as the reservoir deliverability. So these are the formulas that we used to ascertain some of these values: the pressure at the datum level. This is the equation, the drawdown. This is the equation, the productivity index. Can't really see everything. But looking at our table, you'll see the top of preparation depth, everything through vertical. The top of preparation depth for the SG and for the FG. So we're already provided with the gradient value, the static gradient and the flowing gradient. So we just used what we had to calculate the pressure. And we also got our drawdown. So I'm not able to see everything right now. I will not talk about everything on the slide. So you can just move on to the next slide, sir. Okay. Okay, so wow, everything is just scattered. Okay, this is the fluid characterization, and these are the things we're having in the, the three reservoirs. They are all undersaturated, basically because the bubble point pressures are below the initial reservoir pressure. And this is the GOR, the API, and the gas gravity. So the AFRI1 and the AFRI2 reservoirs, they are almost alike, just with a slight difference. It's moderate. The second one, which is AFRI2, has a moderate GOR, while that of AFRI3 has a high GOR, very volatile and light, meaning it has gas inside of it. Okay, next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Okay, so this is the production aspect, and these are all the values that we have. So the target recovery is around 52, yes, 52 million stock per barrel, and that's the target recovery, while the current cumulative production is 48.7 mmstd. Then the gap. So what we are not able to produce yet, but with intervention can be produced, is 3.3. And then for the ultimate recovery, these are for the performance analysis for the well and for the reservoir. So using the economic limit that we have, this is the establishment we have for the ultimate recovery. That's for the two main wells that we have identified that should have some intervention opportunity that will bring us more money. So we're seeing that for the E2009, where we're having 2.4 million, and we're having 1.5 million for that of 2006, W2006. So this is the diagnosis, severe sludging, and as a result, there is a lift instability, and the intervention advice here is the gas lift optimization, GLO, and for 2006, it is a water shut off. That is the recommendation. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, sir. Are you still there? Okay. So please, can you take it up? I can't really see the other ones. Okay, so utilizing the decline curve analysis, forecasting for opportunity profiling, like we already said, we have identified 2 wells that needs intervention, and has, yes, it has some opportunity to make us more money. And these are the ultimate recovery for the 2 wells, and their reservoir, the reservoir they belong to. Okay, next slide. 97. Okay, so the champ plot, this is just a snapshot. It's just a snapshot of the many champ plot that we have. So basically what the champ plot is doing here is serving as a quality control. And from the champ plot, we will get our hyperbolic decline, which is the B, and you can also get your DI, which is the decline itself. And it is there to ensure that whatsoever estimate economically we're having is actually sound and also de-risked. Yes, de-risked reservoir engineering parameters. So the champ plot, basically, I don't have all the time to begin to go into details, but why we engage the champ plot is just to be sure that whatever we are having from the production technology aspect is actually correct. Is actually correct and sound. Okay, the next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Okay, so this is the economic analysis itself. So looking at it, the price of oil given to us is actually $50 per barrel. And the major indicator yardstick that we are looking at here is actually profitability index. So for each dollar spent on the CapEx, how much are we getting? For each dollar spent on the CapEx, how much are we getting? And the one that ranked most is...
Just to mention, Emmanuel, you have 2 more minutes, please.
Okay, thank you so much. So the one that ranks most, looking at the PI, is actually the 2006 well, yes, the 2006 well, it ranked the highest. We are very sorry that we didn't include the NPV. So we just looked at the profitability index should have been, they will have more other yardsticks, but we'll just choose a profitability index. But looking at my colleagues and what they've done, NPV is actually common and we should have included it. So this is it. Next slide. Next slide, sir. And then the recommendation. So like we already saw in all these slides, in the previous slide that has been shown, we can recommend as a team to the management that they should immediately start executing the WSO on the 2006 well due to its superior net cash flow contribution. Yes, and also the PI. Then the other one, which is the 2009, which follows gas lift optimization. It remains highly attractive, but yes, highly attractive and also low cost opportunity because the PI is actually lower than the previous one. So I believe if these steps or this recommendation are taken into consideration with further analysis, the project will actually be viable financially.
Well done,
Thank you.
Emmanuel. Your time is up. Thank you
Okay,
so
I'm
much
done.
for, okay, great then. Thank you for the presentation. So at this time, we'll welcome our judges to please go ahead and give their feedbacks or provide questions for the team to answer to. Thank you.
If I wanted to go last, but I guess I can go first again since nobody's talking yet. So I'm glad, Team D. I'm really glad we gave you the time to make this presentation. I think you were one of the teams that had practiced your slide from beginning to end, that you took us to the very end of your slide with talking calmly. It's not like you were rushing through. So thank you for the wonderful work you have done, and I'm really impressed. I'm not going to say much because we had actually said in the other presentations. I'm sure you heard them. But thank you so much. I'm glad we gave you this opportunity and you really did well. You and your team did well. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Do we have any other feedback from our other judges, please?
Yeah, so thank you, TD. I think it's good that we gave you the benefit to do your presentation. So yes, in terms of end-to-end, we're able to see all that from, because I mean, if management don't see the economics, let me start from there, then there is no decision. However, your economics was just one slide. It was just we didn't see the cash flow profile, and one indicator that is very key when you're doing workovers like this is the payback time with the NPV. At least basically payback time. Yeah, but then I didn't see that. But overall, end to end, I like the way you started from the beginning, from the volumetrics. You had your tables. You showed, the volumetric equations and some of the inputs to it. So it was very, that was good for me. You went into the pivot. One of your slides, you called PVT characterization. You didn't do PVT characterization. So what you simply did was estimating the PVT properties, because you don't have PVT report or data, so you didn't do EOS. So, and like I said initially, these concepts are very key, whatever you call it. It's important to us when you are doing your maturation studies. It means a lot. PVT characterization means a different thing to when you are just estimating PVT properties and getting it. So just an improvement comment for all of you. Yeah, you showed your PI, PP, GOR, and BO, so it's clear. Then you also mentioned target recovery. In this our business, we have whether acronyms or, you can say EUR, expected ultimate recovery. It's clear.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we understand what you mean, or DUR, as the case may be. For example, it shows that you have, you showed that, and then you also mentioned, I think you called it, I don't know what you called it again, the 3.3 is remaining reserve. Yeah,
Okay,
so it's
okay.
not, yeah, it's clear. So these names are key, but I like the way you fleshed it, but I'm just trying to emphasize on some of them. Then
Okay,
you
sir.
also mentioned one, a question for me, how charm plots is a QC for economic evaluation. It wasn't clear to me why charm plot. Well, charm plot is a diagnostic, plot just to see maybe if you have incidents of water channeling or where is it coming from. But it's not a QC for economic valuation.
Okay.
I don't know where you got that from, but then just to whether you can clarify a bit as a question from me. But overall, so far, good work. With all these comments, you can improve on it, but very well structured and the end-to-end delivery. Thank you.
I appreciate, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Please, do we have any other feedback from others from the panel of our judges?
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you, Mr. Tam.
Okay. So I would say I think it's one of the best presentations, and I think your slides are not too wordy. I love that part of it. Technical presentation, it's nice. And one other thing I would say is we should try and know the acronyms we use, like what I can't remember what is said concerning the acronyms, because there are terms we use in the oil and gas industry. So I think I would advise you get familiar with those words there or those acronyms, so that you are it's technically applicable in your presentation. But I would say I enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the kind and corrective words. Thank you.
Do we have any more feedback? Okay, so if we don't have any more, we'll just go ahead and take the 1 minute to score Team D for their presentation, and then we can move on to the next agenda for the day. All right. Once again, thank you so much, our judges. Thank you, our presenters, for the work put into this and for all your efforts and everything, the results, the solution you're proffering and all that. And thank you to our amazing judges for their amazing feedbacks and apt questions that also help other participants to better understand what is being done. We say thank you to every single one on the call. Thank you so much. So before I wrap up the session and move on to the next agenda, which is supposed to be the closing remark, this event was scheduled for 2 hours and 30 minutes. We've already overshoot by 30 minutes, so I'll try not to hold us any much more longer. I want to call on the judges, 1 minute each, please, to just give us a wrap-up or a vote of thanks or something, please. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'll just chip in. This is one initiative that resonates with me very, very, value adding. And thanks to the SC, Dr. Pringle, for this and members of the session for bringing out this initiative. This is one initiative that I think that if we detail it and continue to sustain this initiative with all the improvement is going to be a game changer and one of the key expectation of SP in terms of professional development is very, very deep. So thank you so much. I think as we go on, thanks to the judges and all the teams within the short periods that we've been able to do this. This is an FDP type delivery from end to end. Maybe in subsequent section, we'll try to expand scope. But again, understanding the reservoir, detailed data analysis, the gaps and mitigations are always key. And then you detail the workflow, the problems that you intend to solve, can be optimization, maybe in-field drilling using an analytical model or whatever, but it has to be clear. And one area that I want us to very more, pay more attention is how production forecast translates to economic analysis. It's very important. Most of the times we are short of time, but I think we'll work on that space so that the bit of understanding those very key, workflows and how the results, because we put all of us in our rooms, different rooms, and begin to know the practical understanding or explanation of the profitability indicators, you see more light coming into why management uses that as a decision board in terms of those indicators. And thank you for all the members of Section 103 and the judges for your time. I am aligned with this. I'm very happy I am part of this, and I'll make sure I'll continue to contribute to this. And thank you, everyone, and God bless. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chike. So please, the next judge, I'm trying not to call our name, so please, who's going next for us?
Okay, I think I can go next. Thank you so much to all our presenters. Thank you to Section 103. So as a judge, our role was to evaluate your presentation based on technical accuracy, your creativity, and presentation quality. But regardless of the score, every team here has gained invaluable experience. So the ability to collaborate, innovate, and communicate effectively is what sets apart successful professionals in our industry. So keep up on the skills you have acquired. Keep building on them as you move forward into your careers, regardless of whatever you get finally. So it's really good that you have participated here, and it goes a long way. I'm sure you know that you have to put it in your CV as well. This is a very big, giant step towards your professional career. So thank you so much to SPE and congratulations to all the participants. I hope that in the next session, all the other things that has been mentioned that were not captured in this section would be implemented better. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam Oluchi. It was amazing having you here. And at least for once, you didn't have to go first. Yes, Madam Stella, I see your mic is on mute. You can go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you guys for the work done. So our industry is one of the few places where you have integrated teams working together in a multidisciplinary manner. So, and it's, you go to a bank, everybody's an accountant. You go to a team, everybody is maybe an engineer, but in our teams, in our own teams, you have petrophysics, REs, PTs, Ps, production chemists, production engineers, everybody working together towards a common goal. And that's one thing, that kind of teamwork is what we try to build in the younger ones. So when we see you doing your presentation, that's why you hear some of the comments and feedback we give you. We want everybody to make their input, and we want you to recognize that the other person's input is output is an input into your own activity. Acknowledge that and also respect what the person brings to the table. So when you build those kind of characters by characteristics in your work ethics, by doing projects like this, going back to the office and participating in real life, projects become easier for you, and then you tend to stand out as a team player most of the people you see that are moving far ahead in their careers in the industry are fantastic team players. They may not be the best technically, but they are very good in terms of team playing and collaboration to make sure that the common good is reached for everybody. And that, I hope, is something that, apart from the technical skills you have learned, you also take that away, how to work as a member of a team. Also, like the former speaker said, your presentation skills. Like PowerPoint becomes Excel, two very powerful tools that can be used to tell technical stories. So we need to become, used to them. I noticed some people presented their PDL like pictures from maybe Techlog or some tools, and then some people use the Excel. Visual presentation of all these things is very important, because anything that is visually appealing already makes the person, more receptive to whatever message you're going to give them. So I'm actually happy that this project went along. I feel ashamed that I'm not part of it all, part of the planning or part of the execution. But I'm also excited that you guys had this opportunity and I'm making use of it. And I'm seeing that the output is actually resulting in future engineers that will be able to, come into the industry, get employed at the different companies, and hopefully help pay my pension in future. So thank you very much, and kudos to everybody and the organizers.
Thank you very much, Madam Stella. Let's emphasize the help pay your pension in the future part. And don't feel bad, like I mentioned at the beginning of the program, some plant, some water, and some give the increase. Thank you. Yes, please. Our next judge would like to hear from Mr. Tamuno and Mr. Christian, I believe.
Okay, thank you. I think it is a very welcome idea for Section 103. I'm quite amazed because I know way back, I don't think we had such opportunity to do this, bringing industry people to at least coach the younger ones. And I must say, all the presenters, you guys did absolutely well. And I'm very, very impressed. Now, one other thing, I know it's a teamwork. Everybody has said it's a teamwork, but also know that within that team, you guys will also disagree. That should not cause rift among you. That is the reason why it's a teamwork. You guys will disagree to agree and come up with a formidable result. So on the whole, Section 103 is a good and welcome idea. And anytime, in any way that I can come in and also help in any way, I'm always available for that. I don't want to make some promises, but let's see how the results go, and let's see how, let's look at the contestants. Maybe that will be off the mic. Maybe I'll talk with the section chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Tamino. Thank you. All right. Did I miss any judge? I don't think so. I think we've taken all of them. Okay. So at this time.
So I think just before we end this, I'd just like to say if you can just give another virtual round of applause for the judges. It's been very fantastic of them, fantastic reviews, fantastic, very constructive feedback for all the teams that presented. Obviously, they've dedicated their time, their knowledge, their experience, shared that with the participants, which is very, very, very appreciated. So we'd just like to, personally, on behalf of the committee, say a big thank you to you for giving us your time today and sharing that time with the participants. You've been excellent, and we hope we can continue to leverage on your knowledge, to leverage on your experiences for programs like this in the future. Thank you so much. And also, because this might be the last time we may be able to, have this session with everyone here. For the participants, after this session, we will collate the scores from the judges, and that will be combined with the scores from your project reports and projects you did across the weeks, as well as the scores from your participation across the program. And we will use that to establish the winning teams. Yes, we invite you all to be present at the SP Port Harcourt Section Annual Awards Dinner next week. I believe that should be next week, Saturday, if I'm correct. We will present the certificates to every one of you who participated, and we'll be giving out the cash prizes to the winning teams and also to the best performing participants. And then after that, Safa Crescent will also reach out to some of you, and hopefully, like Mr. Tamana has said, there may also be some opportunities as well from his end. So we look forward to that. So thank you so much, the judges. Thank you, participants, and thank you also to my team, everyone who put this together. Over to you, Madam Dorcas, to continue. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Gerard, and thank you for thanking everyone. Our council chair sends his regrets of his inability to join us as he was overtaken with other activities and several other meetings. But then he sends his keynote speech, which my section chair wants us to hear it because it took time for him to put that together. So please, again, let me seek for 2 more minutes of your time for me to read out that speech to us. All right, so standing in for the council chair on his opening speech, he said, SPE Port Harcourt Section 2025 Petroleum Engineering Bootcamp. The final presentation session, my remarks. Engineer Francis Nwa Ochie, Council Chair, SPE Nigerian Council. Distinguished colleagues, partners, mentors, and our brilliant young professionals. It is a pleasure and a privilege to join you today for the final presentation session of the 2025 Petroleum Engineering Industry Experience Bootcamp. I want to commend the SPE Port Harcourt section and Cypher Crescent for the remarkable organization of this 5-week program. The structure, the depth of content, and the quality of engagement clearly reflect intentional planning and strong commitment to excellence. The bootcamp embodies the core of SPE International's vision and mission, which is to collate, disseminate, and exchange technical knowledge and to advance the professionalism and competence of energy professionals worldwide. What you have achieved here is a living demonstration of that mandate. You created an environment where knowledge is not just taught, but applied, where innovation is not just encouraged, but practiced, and where collaboration across generations happens naturally. To our young professionals, your participation in this opportunity maturation project is more than an academic exercise. It is a signal that you are ready to take ownership of the future of our industry. In an era where the energy landscape is shifting rapidly, technical innovation is no longer optional. It is the engine that will determine relevance, resilience, and sustainability. The skills you have developed here, which are problem solving, critical analysis, digital competence, teamwork, are exactly the skills required to lead the next phase of Nigeria's energy evolution. I encourage you to keep pushing boundaries, keep asking better questions, and keep seeking smarter solutions. The industry needs your creativity, your adaptability, and your willingness to embrace new technologies. To the organizers, mentors, and industry experts, thank you for investing your time, your knowledge, your leadership. Programs like this do not happen by accident. They happen because people with passion and vision commit themselves to raising the next generation. You have strengthened the bridge between academia, early career professionals, and industry realities. And above all, the SPE Nigerian Council deeply appreciates your dedication. As we conclude this bootcamp, let us remember that this is not the end. It is the beginning of a long-term journey of continuous learning, innovation, and professional excellence. Congratulations to the participants and well done to the SPE Port Harcourt section and Cypher Crescent and all the volunteers for an outstanding initiative. Thank you very much. Engineer Francis Mwaoche, Council Chair, SPE Nigerian Council. So please let's give him a virtual round of applause for such an amazing keynote address and an encouragement to every single one of us. Thank you very much, sir. We're very happy to still receive this, regardless of your absence. We do understand. Thank you. Okay, so one of our senior members and section board officer, in fact, our DPC joined us later on in the session, and I kept saying I was going to recognize her. For some reason, I keep getting wrapped up and engrossed with the presentations and stuff. And that is Madam Ella Mozan, our Deputy Programs Chairperson, SPE Port Harcourt section. So she will be taking the closing remark. Please, Ella, welcome to the virtual podium, and please go ahead and give us the closing remark for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas. It's been an exciting and very interesting program. I've been here for most of it. I listened to the presentations and also the feedback from the judges. I just want to say this program has reached its objectives in terms of what we set out to achieve, and it really encapsulates what we've hoped to achieve in SP Section 103 Port Harcourt, driving this next generation of professionals, ensuring that they are equipped with the skills that they need to move the industry forward, and providing the guidance that is needed. So thank you to the judges for taking the time. I believe everyone has put it rightly in terms of how you've captured the essence of what this program set out to achieve. Thank you to the judges for being with us today. And some of you have also participated in other parts of this program, helping and guiding and mentoring these young people to deliver this project in this short time. This was a 5 weeks program, but just seeing what they were able to deliver in this time speaks of their capacity and what they can do if they are given more time and given more opportunities in the industry. To the section chair and the team, Gerald and his team that put together this event or this boot camp, and all the behind the scenes work to get all the facilitators, the resource persons, and planning this program. Thank you and well done. I believe that you can be proud of yourselves for what you have achieved and how you have, in no small measure, contributed to what our industry will look like in the future. To our industry collaborator, Cypher Crescent, thank you for being a trusted partner for SP Port Harcourt. Thank you for always answering our call. Thank you for doing this, because this is really the example that we're looking to set with other companies, companies and organizations that will willingly just provide their resources, provide their time to ensure that we're able to train and build these young professionals. These young professionals, I mean, you've gotten feedback today from the judges and from everyone, but I hope that this has introduced you in no small measure to what the industry expects, the standard that the industry expects. What we aim to do was to give you the exposure to the industry, to interact with real life data. Some of you, this may be the first time. Some of you may have experienced this in some way or form, but not as much detail as you have in this bootcamp. So giving you that experience and that exposure to what the industry requires and what is value for the industry. I hope that this is something that you will take away and that you will also grow with in your as you develop in your career. We look forward to more successful programs like this. Please collaborate with us, our judges, Cypher Crescent, and all of the people who are on this call. Will be calling upon you again to collaborate with us in other forms, because we will continue to do more of this as a section. So thanks everyone again, and congratulations on a successful outing for both the planning team, the participants of the bootcamp, and everyone who has contributed towards making this program a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you once again, every single one, for staying on this call and staying till this time. We have up to 25 participants. We started off, or in between, we were progressing between 33 and 30. And it's amazing to see we still have up to 25 persons till the end. Okay, even 26 now, till the end of this program. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful night rest. And good night, everyone. Do take care. Oh, really? There was an audience on YouTube. Okay. Well done, Tim.
Thank you so much, Madam Dorcas. Fantastic moderation today. Really fantastic. Well done. And thank you for your time today and for supporting us with this. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll just go ahead now and end the live stream, and then we will close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for the opportunity to serve. Just keep my wine sharp.
No problem.
No problem. I see you washing.